not here, but now we are. Joe wore a green shirt today because it's April 1st, and I forgot mine, but this is glorious, and I cannot.
I'm really happy that worked.
That is beautiful. Yeah. So, I have my name is TJ.
I'm Joe.
And we're straight from Geek Fortress in Snohomish, Washington. I do wish I had brought my green shirt, but on the bright side, I did pick up my onesie today for Onesie Wednesday, which is next week. Nice. I realized that the only onesie that I have, after promising that I would wear one, was green. So this at the convention I had Bryce end up picking me up one.
Okay.
And so now I have a second onesie.
Oh, awesome.
Congratulations, Fortnites. You got me to buy another onesie. So, Legacy tonight. I believe it's kind of a smaller one. I think there's about 10 players out there at the moment, which is reasonable.
Yeah, that was not bad.
Yeah, we'll have still 4 rounds.
Yep.
We're gonna have a fun night, and plus we're leading into the pre-release. I can't really blame people for wanting to rest up a little bit because it is gonna be a long weekend. Speaking of which, we are putting some consideration into which we won't have a modern tournament tomorrow, but we are thinking about just getting Coleman and I sitting down and just streaming by not actually showing any events and just talking for X amount of time and just kind of hanging out. If that's something that people are interested in, let me know. If not, then I guess I can always just take a night off, which, I mean, would be a little bit new for me. Anyway, some generic brand energy drink joining me tonight.
I have my matching my shirt generic brand energy drink. Generic.
This guy gets April. Are we dropping frames?
Oh,
Let's take a look at that. Let me see what I can do here. Let me see. Oh my goodness, we are dropping frames. And that is why. Hold on, I can fix that. Let's see here. That.
Oh my.
Yeah, there we go. This is what we want. Okay. There we go. That should do it. Okay. Hopefully that's better. Apologies for the massive amount of dropped frames that we just now realized that we had. We were, as it turns out, behind what was happening here. We happened to be trying to upload, I think, 4 different previous videos. So, that has been halted until further notice. Thank you for letting me know. And I think, actually, the first round is about to begin. So, if you want to take a quick look.
I think they're still getting going. No one's sitting down yet.
Okay, well, we should be getting an update soon. I have got Dylan on the amazing Communicatron, which is basically my phone.
He's actually doing that tonight?
As far as, like, letting me know? I don't know, but I've got him up on the Communicatron.
All right.
If not, you might be our man, in charge.
All right.
Looks to be a bit of a slower night tonight, both in players and possibly viewers, and I'm going to assume that it's because since we're in the East, a lot of our viewers come from the East Coast.
A
lot of our people probably pre-releasing.
Well, maybe we'll get some of those European viewers who are done with their pre-release and just need to chill.
Possibly, we might get some of the people waking up later on. So I think this is going to be a very revealing West Coast extreme. So the people who are there, we're going to need you to extra participate, and you're going to see extra communication from us because, the pre-release is probably happening, which means that a lot of those people are doing that, which is something that I just now considered. All right, Joe is going to be our man with a plan, picking out who is playing. But I do want to say hello to Hubsair and Jatron. I do know that Elves is out there. Coleman is playing it tonight, I believe. So, Maker, I have to agree that West Coast pride is important. So, thank you all for joining, but I do have to think that this is going to be a pretty slow stream tonight, and that's something that I can accept. I really should have expected that. So, that's how you learn. And Rob, good to see you. Habsair, you know what? Thank you for joining Habsair, even when you're on the East Coast. And also to Manascrew, thanks for joining. I don't think that we've actually seen you in the chat before. It is great having you, so thank you so much for joining. I do hope that you enjoy the show. And if you haven't yet, I do hope that you hit that follow button and join us again, because it's a lot of fun to do this, and it's always nice to have new people joining us each time. At least it's a lot of fun for me. So that's perfectly reasonable. I'll probably be doing a couple of pre-releases just for getting a sense of what the format is. Actually, there's a small chance that I might be dipping my foot into Standard this season, only because Red actually might be playable again, which, of course, is my biggest requirement. So,
Alright, so
Joe,
we have our first match.
Alright, I think I see the player on the right.
We go.
Oh my
Ian.
goodness. Okay, now, do you happen to know what they're both on?
I do.
Okay,
So,
then hop on in.
I was gonna go and scout the rest of the matches, but
That's okay. So Ian, what is Ian playing?
Ian is playing Maverick.
So this is Maverick versus Elves.
Oh no.
Whoa, oh, is this
Maverick
Matrix?
versus Allurin. Oh,
Allurin.
yeah.
So
that's why this match is on.
Oh my. Did I spell that right? I think it's Ian actually.
It is.
So this should be a fairly interesting matchup. Tell me, break it down for me in 15 seconds.
Allurin?
No, what the two decks are going to be, how they're going to win.
Alright, so
As far as like through the other deck.
Maverick is going to be junk colors, just trying to out aggro Allurin, keep him off his combo, and just use general high value. Bit of hate bears going on. Allurin is going to be combo deck. Otherwise, he's going to try and just beat him down with creatures as quickly as possible, tutoring up with recruiters.
So who do you give the edge to?
It's a very good question.
How much hand disruption are we going to see from Maverick?
Potentially a little bit. He is Dark Maverick. I believe I did see him to Turox. So
Okay.
I want to give Maverick the edge here, especially because once the Allurin comes down, if he doesn't already have the full combo ready to go, Maverick gets to dump all of his creatures as well.
Okay, well let's head on down, have some fun. It's Legacy, 4 rounds. Let's do it. See you there. Okay, so both players taking a look at their opening hand. We do have a Dryad Arbor in Maverick's hand, which, interestingly enough, almost seems like the place where you never actually want it. And so we are going to see a mulligan there.
Yeah, we saw the Dryad Arbor and the Green Sun Zenith, which is a little unfortunate because
Worst case scenario.
Zenith is how you want to get your Dryad Arbor. That's what it's for.
I mean, I could see an argument for keeping an iffy hand with the Dryad Arbor, but having that in the Green Sun is just it's painful.
That's not what you want. That's not all the Green Sun Zenith can do, but it's one of its best functions.
Yeah, a 1 mana grab a land. I mean,
yeah,
that used to be my living the dream in EDH actually.
nice.
I used to do that. I ran it specifically just so that I could do that, and then people would be like, "Huh?" and I'm like, "Banned in Modern." Too good.
Yeah.
Too good. And then they, use any with the plethora of removal that's in EDH or a board wipe, and I'd be down a land, and I'd feel bad.
No one plays board wipe in EDH.
But it was worth it.
Yeah.
It's actually, that's the interesting thing, is you either play no board wipe or all board wipe.
Like a solid 13 board wipes.
Yeah. You go from like 0 to 6 to 13.
Yeah.
It is in increments of like absurd.
Too many.
Yeah.
It is in increments of opening hands of nothing but board wipe.
Exactly.
0,
I'd like
7, 14.
Alright, now we are taking a look at Ian's, and I think he might end up keeping this hand. Seems to at least be okay with it.
Looks like both players are getting ready to keep here.
Okay.
Still giving some thought though.
So, Maverick probably going to be... Ooh, and actually... So this has to be, already an advantage towards Maverick. But with Allurin going down to 5 being a combo deck, that has to be a pretty bad situation, especially not having much blue.
Yeah, I mean, that's not where he wants to be, but it's not the worst place necessarily, because one of the nice things with Allurin is that it's, all low-cost creatures, so in a pinch he can just be aggro.
Okay.
I've had people do that to me.
So an Underground Sea into a Deathrite Shaman, matching
go.
the Swamp Deathrite Shaman from Ian, who is going to be following it up with possibly a Bayou into an Abrupt Decay on his opposing Deathrite Shaman, and possibly just going for the swing for 1.
Yeah, I think that would be his best play here.
All right.
Keeping your opponent off Deathrites is really strong in Legacy.
Yeah, and especially when it gives you the opportunity to get a little bit of damage, and knowing that he's on that mold into 5, that possibly is a big part of his game plan of why he kept that. But an Abrupt Decay falling from Coleman.
It's my favorite mirror match.
So far, essentially a mirror match.
Deathrite, Decay. Loving it.
This is beautiful. So, Plains coming out for Ian, who is then going to drop down Kozali Pride Mage. Does that have a whole lot of relevance against this Allurin deck beyond just the attack, or is that Parasitic Strix an artifact creature?
Well, there's the Allurin itself as an enchantment.
Probably should have thought of that.
But I mean, yeah, I believe the Parasitic Strix is an artifact. Don't quote me on that. But unfortunately, even though he can target the Allurin,
and a Gaddock Teeg out.
he has to get his timing very carefully because the Allurin is going to be going off fully at instant speed, and that can be really tough to interact with.
Uh-huh. So the Gaddock Teeg coming out in the Cabal Therapy. I mean, what do you name? Reveals 2 lands, so it's not going to be anything great.
No matter what, he's whiffing there.
But that Gaddock Teeg, now Allurin is a 4-mana spell, I believe.
Correct.
So, not gonna shut off that, at least until it's removed. Other than that, you know, the interesting thing is that actually shuts down his own Green Sun Zenith, which I don't think is a very high price.
Right.
But it's something that strikes me as interesting. So, an attack there with that, it's
Dreamstalker, I do believe.
Dreamstalker, that's the word. I knew it was something about dreams, but I didn't want to call it dreamy. Let's take a look at that. There we go. You are correct about the Dreamstalker.
A nice fat defense on this guy, which makes him really frustrating to play against. But solid card for Coleman to have right now when he's just, trying to buy some time.
Yeah, and it does just mean that Ian is pretty much put down to just doing 2 damage a turn as opposed to 3, or even in a best case scenario up to 5.
Yeah.
So, a Sigarda, and actually we're going to see the Sigarda come down, which is going to be a house against Coleman. The nice thing is that it is a creature deck, and I think he's... Ooh, my goodness.
And aggressive with those blocks.
Absolutely. And, I mean, this Sigarda, not really going to be able to be removed by much of what Coleman is doing. So I have a hard time imagining... Oh, and actually going for the Mother of Runes first, which seems like an interesting choice.
For sure. I mean, Mother of Runes is definitely not a bad card, but not the most useful right here.
Uh-huh. I was very much expecting to see that. I mean, just the amount of damage that it would deal over a period of time, because it could deal 6 damage per turn. That's a 2-turn clock with him at 12. And now he's putting himself back down to a 3-turn clock, which just... I'm going to guess that there's a reason for making that play, and it might just be, if Ian isn't fully aware of what Coleman is playing...
Right.
Could be trying to get just cautious around some form of removal.
Yeah, I mean, the Dreamstalker should be a pretty big give onto what Coleman's playing.
Absolutely.
But it's also not a very common deck, so we might just not know.
Right, and I believe that Ian was primarily a Modern player. I'm not sure how well-versed he is with Legacy, to be honest.
Okay.
He might be well-versed. But I definitely can't confirm, as far as it's recently that we've seen him starting to play Legacy here.
Okay.
So, could be a relative...
One of my favorite Legacy cards coming down, Cavern Harpy.
A very interesting card. And just going to continue bouncing his own land there.
Yeah, opens up a bit of mana, nothing wrong with that. Doesn't necessarily want to pick up the Cavern Harpy here because it is a very efficient blocker.
And especially now it's going to be excellent against that Sigarda that might end up coming down. Now, the ability of Mother of Runes to give it protection,
right?
Good.
That hurts,
but at least forces Ian to start actually using that. So we have got an attack for 3, and I will kind of... Oh, okay. That's giving protection from blue.
So protection from all of Coleman's creatures, unfortunately.
And we are getting knocked down to 8. Also, as a quick note, all the people in the chat, we do need you to be a bit more active because, as it turns out, all the people on the East Coast and farther east are all at their pre-release. So, if you guys do want to interact, then... the West Coast has got to show up in the chat, and definitely means that we'll be for sure seeing what you put. All right, and actually drops down a Knight of the Reliquary, which is so far actually just a 2/2.
Yeah, nothing too intimidating, but a lot of potential in it.
Apologies, I'm a bit under the weather. I think what I did it is that talking so much last Saturday just knocked me out.
Okay.
So, a Misty Rainforest just in the graveyard. Pretty much the only card in the graveyard for Coleman. Otherwise, a Death Threat Shaman and Abrupt Decay for Ian. But this is just a swing for 4. And I think pretty much Ian's just going for the beatdown game plan. But I am still surprised to not see this Sigarda come down yet.
Yeah.
But... possibly trying to keep up. Have you been able to see what that other card in his hand is?
I haven't been able to, no.
Okay, because if it is something that might be removal, then could just be wanting not to tap out and keep up that option to disrupt this combo if it gets close.
Right.
But we have... Was that a Shardless
It is a
Agent?
Shardless Agent.
Okay. So
It's just a all-around good value card.
likely going for that and hoping.
Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, there's a really good chance he's just going to run into more blue permanents, and that Mother of Runes is going to make it, really difficult for him to block anything.
Yeah.
I suppose he does have the chance of running into an Abrupt Decay, but that active Mother of Runes, again, doesn't really give him much.
And gets a Thoughtseize, which actually, interestingly enough...
He is casting.
So he's going to...
It looks like it.
Is he going to put himself down to 4 for this?
Oh, I think he's thinking about it. That's not going to be in his best interest, I don't think.
Yeah, I think right now... Okay,
Oh,
so
and he does.
reveal a Green Sun Zenith as a Sigarda, takes the Sigarda, left with a Green Sun Zenith, which can grab pretty much almost anything in that deck, 4 and under. Is there any card that you are particularly
only once the Gaddock Teague leaves play.
Oh, that's a great point.
So, currently, Ian has a dead hand. But he's got a much better board presence than Coleman does.
Especially with that Mother of Runes, and actually he even has the ability to use that Horizon Canopy to draw an extra card if needed, which hasn't really been relevant yet.
Yep, and it looks like he's buffing up his Night of the Reliquary here.
Going for a Windstorm Teeth, so
he can fetch, give it pro blue, and swing with a 4-power unblockable Knight on the next turn.
Which seems pretty good.
Seems like a pretty efficient way to win the game here.
Absolutely.
Isn't it?
Thank you.
Drawing his extra card with the Canopy. And fetching, so that's going to be a 5/5 Knight, I do believe.
With likely protection from blue.
And swinging alone, Exalted.
Live the dream.
Yeah, it's a very efficient kill from Maverick. Although let's see if Coleman, while Hellbent and with only 2 untapped creatures, has anything to say about that.
Unlikely. We might see a fetch in response.
Yeah.
Maybe for a Shockland, if he decides to run one of those.
Fetch to assert his dominance.
Yeah, and then maybe drop down City of Brass and activate that to get the mana to concede.
There we go.
Yeah.
The mandatory 2 concession mana.
Well, it takes a white mana to concede. Yeah. And we have got the draw from Ian, who grabs a Mother of Runes, but is pretty much holding the win already, so I think we're just going to see a turn sideways. Protection from blue, and that is going to be the end of that game.
Coleman just following through, giving Ian the chance to make a mistake, but he was not having that game.
Absolutely. So, Alluren on the play, possibly with a much better opening 7.
Yeah, much more aggressive opening 7. He's still probably not going to be doing much until turn 3 or 4. I mean, the best you can hope for is a turn 1 Deathrite, turn 2 probably Baleful Strix, and then turn 3 Alluren and start to combo.
Okay.
That's as aggressive as Alluren really gets with its combo. But I mean, if we see that, then we could see a lot of fun things coming out of the deck.
Absolutely, and I'm actually...
Frozen Grip coming in out of the board from Maverick and Surgical Extraction. Not the best, but not terrible.
Not awful, and it does just have the ability to, where if he ends up using some of that hand disruption to take down some of these combo pieces, just able to clear it out entirely.
Oh yeah, that is always a really good feeling. Is Thought Seizing, Hymn to Turok, Cabal Therapy, get one of your opponent's key pieces, and then just extract them all out of the deck.
Maker asking, what is better right now, Punishing Maverick or Dark Maverick? And hello to Stranger Ranger.
Yeah, hey.
Even though it's Stranger Anger. I just like calling it Stranger Ranger. But what, in your opinion, what is better right now between the two?
I don't know. That's definitely an interesting question. I'm not too familiar with Punishing Maverick. Personally, I think Dark Maverick is more interesting, has a lot of powerful spells at its disposal, and I just like Abrupt Decay over Punishing Fire personally, so I think that's where I'd go.
Okay.
But
would you
not
say
it's objectively better?
How about you find yourself in a particularly creature-heavy aggressive meta? Let's say Delver, Goblins, things like that. Which one do you prefer?
I mean,
because punishing fire is a house in that particular situation.
It is, but I don't think Maverick is going to make as much use out of it as other decks like lands, because Maverick has a lot of other things they want to be spending their mana on, whereas Punishing Fire, you have to really dedicate yourself to for a couple turns to get a lot of value out of.
Okay.
So I think Maverick has better things to be doing, and that's where the Dark Maverick comes in.
Okay. That's a pretty reasonable argument. I can see that. So...
And another question there in the chat, is Alluren really that slow? Yeah, it's a 4 mana. You're not really bringing it down earlier than turn 3. You're not playing...
What is this, modern?
Like, you're not playing, rituals and whatnot, because, once you've got your combo going, they're not worth it. It's just all value creatures, so you're going to play your Shaman on turn 1, that nets you 1 extra mana, gets you up to 3 mana on turn 2. You could cast another Death Ray, but that still doesn't get you your Alluren until turn 3.
Yeah, and I think one thing is to remember that the deck isn't doing nothing while it's waiting to come.
Right. It's playing a lot of very high-valued creatures.
So it has a pretty decent game plan to where it's just... I mean, it's almost comparable to... I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but at least in a vacuum, if you not take out the Alluren, you're playing something similar to that kind of Maverick. Just play value creatures, get them out there, play them on curve.
For sure.
And maybe, if you have 4 mana open, you can win.
Yep.
Easy.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times you see Alluren played as just a high-value, efficient creature deck that sometimes just goes, whoops, I won.
So basically, it's Legacy Twin.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. Nailed it.
Yeah.
Then, of course, Twin is actually starting to make a little bit of a splash in Legacy.
Yeah, so I've heard.
But by splash, I mean, it gets a pretty big spotlight on it because of all the people who like Twin.
Yeah.
Which is the previous Twin players.
Yep.
So in Game 2, with Coleman on the play, are you still giving Maverick the edge, or do you think that Alluren has that ability, especially on the play, to maybe take advantage of this situation?
I think if we see a good opening 7 from Alluren, we might be able to give him the edge, but it's not going to be much. I think Maverick still has a very good fighting chance here in Game 2.
Okay.
And, even if Alluren gets it, it's going to go back to Maverick on the play, and I see him taking the match.
Okay. Okay. Excuse me. So, we have got the Qasali Pride Mage, a Mother of Runes, a Knight of the Reliquary.
And at least one hymn.
I don't think that we saw enough land.
No, I think agree.
One of the reasons why that hand looked so impressive is because...
there was no land.
There were 7 good cards and no way to cast them.
Yeah.
And actually, a mulligan from both players. Pretty interesting situation at this point, especially in a format that tends to be at least more consistent, and both of these decks, to my knowledge, being fairly consistent.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a lot of low-cost, high-value cards from both players, so it's not like, oh no, I accidentally started the game with both of my 6-drops and my 7 in hand and only 2 land. It's, oh, I've got a 1-drop, 2 2-drops, 3 land, and a 3-drop. Yeah, it doesn't matter what they are. Those are all good cards that are coming in soon.
So a surprising amount of mulligans, at least. But, at least when you have that deck construction, the deck can mulligan fairly well as well.
Yeah, but unfortunately these aren't decks with a lot of cantrips, so each mulligan does hurt a little bit more than in something, like Alluren is a combo deck versus Show and Tell is a combo deck. Show and Tell can mulligan pretty easily because it's packed with cantrips.
Right.
Preordains, Ponders, Brainstorms. Alluren's got Baleful Strix, which is an amazing card, but it's not a cantrip for fixing your hand. It's just a way to keep your hand full.
Right. And actually, this might be a keepable 5, because we do have a... Okay, never mind.
Throwing it back.
We're going to be going down to 4 for Alluren, which is dangerous. And I think what that hand had was a Brainstorm, but I didn't see actually a land to cast it with. So there are at least some number of Brainstorm in this deck. Habsair talking about the thing with cheap value decks is they could play as few as 15 mana. That's a pretty decent point, and even when you start including that Deathrite Shaman, which puts you up to 19 sources, you do still need to cast at turn 1.
Right.
Theoretically.
I think Alluren tends to play more than that because, it does want to be consistently playing out more and more of its value creatures. But yeah, there are some decks that get really low on the mana curve. I want to say Alluren's sitting closer to 19.
Okay.
Which is a respectable number. Shouldn't be this difficult for him to have a keepable hand with spells and the mana to cast it.
Right. So Mother of Runes coming out early for Ian off of what appeared Scrubland?
I believe so.
Or that's the black-white one?
Yeah.
Okay. And in Abrupt Decay, taking it down from Coleman as early as possible, because once that is online, it's going to be...
Once it's no longer summoning sick, it's there.
Right.
You can't really do anything about it.
So a double fetch from Coleman, who's put himself down to 18 for that Abrupt Decay, but all things considered, that's a pretty good trade.
Yeah.
And we have got a Taiga and an Underground Sea. Yeah? Ooh, I'm
Yeah.
getting better at this.
Oof.
So
And
that is a
the
Caracas.
nigh on useless Caracas in this match. I don't think Ian's playing. I mean, Sigardo, but he doesn't have that many legendary creatures of his own to get a lot of value with, and Coleman doesn't really play any.
Yep, so Kazali Pride Mage from Ian, passing back into a Death Threat Shaman from Coleman.
Not bad, not bad.
We do have a Noble Hierarch from Ian, and I think if he was intending to cast that, I would have expected him to play that pre-combat just for the extra Exalted
I
trigger.
don't think he has the green mana for it right now, though. Unfortunately.
I mean, he was able to cast that Kazali Pride Mage, and I think that's actually the green-white.
Oh, is that a Savannah?
Yeah, I think that is a
Those
Savannah.
are fair point, and those are the worst in terms of looking identical.
Yeah. And I think what we saw there was a situation in which I would like to see that Noble Hierarch come out first, just for the additional mana.
Right.
Especially when you're going to be giving him one life. You know, he could have been at 15 as opposed to 16, and doesn't matter down the line. Probably not.
But, I mean, you never know. Sometimes that's a critical distinction. Oof, and Coleman without the mana to actually cast his Baleful Strix.
It's unfortunate. So basically, just saying, check out what I got.
Yep.
Maybe one day.
Yeah.
And
If you let me live.
Ooh, and a choke and a surgical
Oh.
in Ian's hand.
That choke is going to be doing a lot of work if Ian draws this third mana. Oh no, the Noble Hierarch, what am I saying?
Yep.
That choke is going to be painful, especially now that he's seen Coleman with that Strix. That requires Coleman to draw into 2 more viable mana sources. That Strix is just going to hang out as a do-nothing.
So, a swing for 4, knocking him down to 12, and I think, we might actually see this Night of the Reliquary come out. I'm expecting the choke. Okay.
I would say the choke just to, that sets Coleman back a good 2 turns at least.
Right, and with him having no board state currently,
Right.
I'd much rather make it so that he can't play the game even if I'm a bit slower,
Mhm.
than continue applying pressure when you've already got 4 damage per turn.
Oh, yeah. I mean, at this point, he doesn't need to keep building pressure, especially since those double Exalted triggers are doing a lot of work for him. An extra creature doesn't really do much.
Right.
He's going from swinging for 4 for swinging for 4.
So a Dryad Arbor, and I think what we're just going to end up seeing is possibly this Night of the Reliquary come out. Just to apply some kind of protection, but I kind of like the fact that he's not, just to keep
Yep.
some kind of mystery in hand, so that if
Mhm.
Coleman goes for any kind of interaction, because he has a winning board state, he wins next
Yeah.
turn regardless. He doesn't really need a whole lot, and actually, did Coleman also have Chokin? No, that was...
So he was revealing his Allure, because I don't think Ian had realized what he was playing against.
Okay, and so
Just
definitely was something to
showing him what it
consider, yeah.
was.
All right, now, do you think that we will be able to get another match up in this round?
Yeah, I would think so. Those are some pretty fast games. I'll see what's still out there.
Excellent. Yeah, let's see what we can get. I'll see you all back in the booth. Hello and thank you for joining. My name is TJ and you are watching Geek Fortress, where we stream this 3 times a week. It's going to be a smaller stream tonight as far as viewership goes because of the pre-release that is happening pretty much everywhere, starting at the East Coast of the US and continuing east from that point because their midnight pre-releases have all begun. But if you are brand new, welcome. It is great to have you. If you are new, let us know in the chat and we will happily welcome you by name. Otherwise, to all the West Coast people and the occasional European or East Coast or Canadian people that are hanging out in that chat, one thing that we will need, because we do like that active chat, is if you would like to see a bit more of an active chat, we will do our best to interact with you just because it is going to be a smaller stream. We can get a little bit more cozy, have some fun, and it'll feel very reminiscent to some of the early days of Geek Fortress streaming, which was certainly a good time. Can we put Alern on screen? So yes I can. It's going to be in kind of an odd spot, but it's something that I can definitely do, so let's see what we've got here. Hold on. I can fix this. Totally something that I can do. Alright. So let's do that. And Allurin. Check it out. Fixing things on the fly. So, any player may play creature cards with converted mana cost 3 or less without paying their mana cost, and as though they had flash. Gonna need that shout out so you can eat this grilled cheese. Stranger Anger, you eat that grilled cheese and you enjoy it. Hopefully you picked a good cheese. Something possibly aged, a bit sharp. Apologies, feeling a bit under the weather. Maybe something with some of those crystallized pockets. That would be excellent. But grilled cheese, always a fantastic treat. So what have we got?
Well, we have a painful treats for you, and we've got Justin playing Miracles Against the Wall versus Nathaniel playing Affinity.
Affinity, huh?
Legacy Affinity can be a really interesting deck, in my opinion.
Which Nathaniel is it?
Fantastic question.
Go ahead and ask him what his last name is. All right, and we will find out what we have got. So, let's see what we have got. We're gonna find out.
Schussler?
Excellent. You know what? I'm gonna put S and then message Dylan asking for the spelling of that. So,
seems good.
Affinity versus Miracles heading into game
3.
Ooh. Now, is this a Tezzeret kind of Affinity?
You know, I don't really know. It'll be fun to see. I sure hope he's playing Tezzeret because that's the best part of playing Affinity.
Let's check it out. Have some fun. More round 1 coming now. All right. So, Affinity versus Miracles. Who do you... So, I feel like Miracles...
I'm amazed we went to a game 3.
...has a huge advantage in this matchup.
Yes.
Through Counterbalance, the amount of Swords to Plowshares, Terminus.
Terminus is the #1 enemy of Affinity decks, in my experience.
And because even with, if he's running Arcbound Ravager, he just doesn't do anything when you're in that kind of situation. Now, we are seeing some Sword of the... I think we have a Thopter Sword combo.
I love it. Honestly, that's your #1, in my opinion, sideboard option for fighting through Miracles.
So it could have been a sideboard choice.
Yeah, that's my sideboard for Miracles.
That's awesome.
2 Thopter Foundry, 1 Sword. Because they don't really have a good way to interact with you. They've got 1
Council's
Judgment,
right.
maybe a second out of the board, and, if they assume that that's what you're going into, which... Why would they? You're playing Legacy Affinity. No one does that. Maybe they'll have the forethought to bring in Rest in Peace.
Which,
is going to do a lot of work. But, game 3, that wouldn't be surprising.
Though, interestingly, Rest in Peace actually does stop modular triggers. Because the creature never dies.
Oh, yes, never died.
So, we have got a Chalice of the Void, an Ancient Den, some other cards. Now, that Chalice of the Void actually might do a decent amount.
Yeah.
Here.
Love mainboard Chalice out of Affinity. It's amazingly strong. Because you don't play that many 1-drops, and you can very easily, and it looks like we're going to see it here, turn 1 Chalice for 1 out of an aggro deck. Feels amazing.
So, and actually he does have the Tezzeret in hand. He kept his Scry on top and has 1 other land. So if he draws into anything that produces... Was that an Aethersworn Kindlist?
Yes.
Also going to be good, especially since it doesn't die to Path to Exile.
So many fantastic cards here. This is how Affinity has a fighting chance.
Oh, and that is an entire hand of 1-drops.
Oh, yeah.
Every card in every single one of those cards is a 1-drop.
Alright, so
except maybe a Force Will. Is there a Force? There might be.
If there was a Force, I think we would have seen it.
You're right.
Unless he's drawn it since that Chalice.
That is...
Oof. Wear Tear and...
I don't... Yeah, I think that is an entire hand of 1-drops.
That
now, the Wear and Tear
hurts.
is going to be relevant if he gets to a second land.
Mm-hmm.
Man.
Oof. And yeah, there is a Force in there.
So a little
it's
bit...
not nothing, but... Oof.
It was interesting that he didn't go for the Force Will there.
He did have Opening Force. That is very interesting, then, yeah.
Maybe... Yeah, that just strikes me as really odd.
Mm-hmm.
So, we are going to see him discard getting rid of a Snapcaster Mage and a Pass Back, and now Justin at a pretty massive disadvantage.
Mm-hmm.
That is a Disciple of the Vault. We're going to see a swing for 2. His own spell gets countered.
Yep.
And pretty much at this point, Nathaniel just waiting to get into the mana to cast that Tezzeret.
Yep.
Doesn't seem to have a whole lot else going. What was that one? That full art. Was that like a Condescend or something?
Oh,
it's like
I was watching Justin's
white
hand.
card. Oh, that's not a Force Will. That's a Counterbalance. Oh no, that is a Force.
He just drew one of them.
I think one of those is a counterbalance.
It is. He's definitely got force.
So he did
and
not
balance.
have opening force. He had an opening counterbalance.
Oh man.
And just drew the
It
force.
just drew force.
Oh, and
That
actually,
is
the
rough.
Brainstorm Show, tossing in that information as
Yeah.
I say that. Well, actually, the Brainstorm Show, I think you are brand new here, so welcome. I hope that you're enjoying it. Be sure to hit that follow button.
Yeah.
Same, I think Sauce XOXO we have seen before, but if we haven't, welcome, and if we have, welcome back.
Yeah.
It's good to have you.
Ooh, Ancient Tomb from Affinity, so he's just looking for the colors he needs. Oof, nice little Vault Scourge. It's always a satisfying card to get to play.
Especially when you don't have to take any damage to cast it.
Oh, yeah.
So we have got Justin down to 12.
Oh,
And I think...
stuck on 1 mana, surprisingly. Miracles is usually something that floods out.
Uh-huh. So, if we end up getting basically the color mana that he needs, this Tezzeret is going to be insanely good.
Oh, it always is, yeah.
So, I'm surprised to see Affinity doing this well. That early
Oh.
Chalice on 1.
That is what did it. Justin's a little iffy opener.
Now, talking about what does Legacy Affinity have that Modern does not? Fast
The mana base. It's got soul lands, it's got artifact lands. The artifact lands make your cranial plating that much stronger,
Ancient
and you
Tomb.
get to play Tezzeret effectively. Ancient Tomb as a ramp makes the deck very different from the modern one. I don't want to say it's better, it's worse, it's different.
Actually, the Modern one can be, at times, faster too.
Oh,
Because
for sure it can, because it's
it's
playing
much more
full
streamlined,
aggro.
and it's
Yeah.
used to so much hate, where this one has to
Right.
be a lot more diverse in what it can
Mhm.
react to.
Yeah, so the Legacy one plays Tezzerets as just a compact win con and draw. It's got main board, Chalice of the Void as hate for, miracles, combo, everything else in the format. So it's not as fast and aggressive, but it gets a lot of value out of just its lands, its cranial platings get so much bigger, so much faster.
So the wear now an option for Justin. We do have a pretty sizable swing that's going to knock him down to 5. Okay, so knock him down to 5. The only downside is that he can actually take down this Chalice now, and he does have some removal in hand, so that's going to start slowing down what Nathaniel is doing, but it might be too far gone at this point.
Right.
He does have that Force of Will in hand, so he'll be able to stop that Tezzeret once Nathaniel finds his colors.
Well, he already did. Nathaniel played a second Mox Opal to get the
Oh, I'm
colors
sorry,
going,
you're right. And the Force
and
of
the
Will.
Force already happened.
Yeah,
But
I'm sorry. I
no, we're...
completely jumped my entire memory there.
Mhm.
Okay.
come
To
on.
Maker, yes, Modern Affinity is better in Modern than Legacy Affinity is in Legacy. Legacy
Right.
Affinity is not particularly strong in a super wide field.
Mhm.
It's fun,
Yeah.
but it's not particularly great. It's more of a meta call than it is
Yeah,
a tier 1 monster.
Really, Miracles is the number 1 deck, in my opinion, that forced Affinity out of the meta, because Terminus, in its original style, was so hard to play through. That he's...
Lands him back.
Oh, is that what we're...
Oh, what a champ. Justin, he knows exactly what I'm going to say right before I say it. Okay. So, Justin down to 4. Looking at a board that is going to kill him. He does... What is that?
Is that a...
Oh, is that a disenchant?
Yeah, very well could be. I would
Was there a
assume.
promo disenchant?
Sure.
So we do have... Okay.
It's not the best disenchant, but
It is not the best one.
it's not Mercadian Masks.
Going up to 22. Justin down to 2 in a very dangerous position.
Mhm.
I mean, I still have a hard time not seeing Nathaniel win this one because Justin is still currently on 2 mana.
Yeah, it's...
The Chalice is gone. He has 1 swords in hand. He can
Mhm.
fetch down to 1.
I think that's what he needs to do here. Fetch and just hope that it's Terminus on top post-fetch.
That's pretty reasonable. He does have the swords, but he's put himself down to 1 to do this.
Mm.
So he's taking 1
Well,
damage next turn.
A swords isn't enough to get him anywhere right now.
No, because he would still be dead to the board.
Yeah, he's still staring down 2 separate creatures, swinging for lethal each. He needs more than... He just draw top anyways.
Yep.
Oh,
So
that
got the top.
hurts.
He might just have to activate this top. Or actually, he might almost cast the Brainstorm instead.
It looks like, yeah, he's gonna
Just because that way he might be able to draw one of the cards.
Brainstorm, try to get another top. That's just insulting.
And that is nothing that was going to help. So I think Justin just unfortunately dead to the board.
Yep.
All right.
If he had, a planes and a sword in that Brainstorm, that would have been something, but...
Yeah.
Oof.
The Gaming Dead, it's good to see you again, actually. It's been a while since I've seen you. Welcome back.
Man.
Thanks for joining us again. Same to Spike, actually. It's been a bit since we've seen Spike. So Justin lining that up, and I think, he might just force him to play it out. Maybe he'll play cautiously, something like that. But Nathaniel has the win on board right now.
Oh, for sure.
And with a Sword of the Meek. Sure. I mean...
Insults Andrew.
Well, you can put it onto the Ornithopter, actually. Or,
Or just gear it up and...
Yeah. I'm a little bit surprised they didn't put on the Ornithopter, but with only 1 mana from Justin, it's definitely a reasonable expectation to have. So...
Yeah, I mean... He had the potential to flip top revealing Terminus, but...
You would have had the same result anyway.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I do have to agree that, really could have put it anywhere. I think just because I'm me, and I like to swing with an Ornithopter, that kills them.
It's fun.
It feels right,
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So I think there was only one other match still going when I pulled these guys. I'll see if we can pick them up for a quick game.
See you back in the booth. Hello, I forgot to hit the save button. Question is, do you mull aggressively to get a force knowing that they're hoping to have Chalice? It's a decent question. I think most likely Justin kept that hand just because the huge amount of 1-drops it had. I think 2 removal spells, a variety of cantrips, as well as the top into counterbalance combo. Do you try and mulligan into a Force of Will? Maybe, but when you're looking at a hand that is otherwise extremely good, I think that's a decent chance to make, especially with it being maybe I assume a 4 of. When you're looking at a hand that will likely win if they don't have the Chalice on 1, I don't know. That's definitely an interesting choice. I probably would have ended up keeping that hand if I was in Justin's shoes, but there's a really solid argument to be made for mulliganing until you get to that Force of Will. But mulling for a land, again, a pretty reasonable option there. Hello to everybody just joining. My name's TJ. Joe is my co-host. He's out there trying to see if there is another match. Otherwise, we should be heading to round 2 pretty shortly. We are going to have 4 of them tonight. It's going to be a blast. If you are brand new, be sure to hit that follow button. We like it. It means that we get to have a continually growing community and interact with you all. It means that you get to find us much easier when we are streaming. We do this 3 times a week. Wednesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. We do Modern on Wednesdays and Saturdays. Legacy on Fridays. The schedule can be found right down there. It is always a blast to do this. I think, we're at about 6 months of doing this, and it's been a long journey as far as just where we were to where we've been in terms of quality and also just general viewership. So thank you to all the people who have stuck with us and to all the people who have joined us over time. Joe is a fantastic co-host. Definitely enjoying April, or at least the beginning of it. So, let's go ahead and play. At least I haven't seen him yet, so here's my question to all of you. What is, let's say, in Legacy, what is the biggest reason to run black? That is going to be my question. Toss your answer in. Make it exactly 6 words. 6 words or bust. I'm hoping to see some solid answers there. Bombtron, thank you. You know what? I accept flattery. I promise it is on my to-do list. Unfortunately, I am not unfortunately, this week has been insane. But tomorrow, pretty much wide open until the stream that we might be doing just for the fun of it. Even though we won't be actually streaming any events, we might just be doing a fun little stream to interact with the viewers, talk about stuff, doing a Q&A. Yes, the deck list will get up. I do promise that. This week has been insane. I actually have not had an open half hour to just get it done. So I apologize. I know I do try to be much quicker about those in general, but it's been a very, very busy week for me. So again, I'm sorry. I will get that Mono Blue Tron. If you don't follow me on Twitter to where you'd be able to see me, just link it there. then I will let you know, hopefully for that stream tomorrow, and I'll let you know what is going on with it. We have got I Will Reanimate Gristlebrand, have fun. Spike, I like that one. Jatron, All Hail our Lord Zombiefish. I do love the Gurmag Angler. Stranger Anger, Just Mono Black or Splash Ack. I'm going to assume that that's your 6-word answer. I was thinking Splash or pretty much Mono.
Alright, so we have round 2 getting going here.
And round 2 beginning.
Yeah,
Nick,
we got a fun little...
have you got something spicy for us?
So, I'm not going to actually be much help on this, but we've got Scott Casmy playing Burn.
On which side?
Not the wall.
Okay.
And
now,
against the
I can
wall,
help with that deck.
we have David, new guy to the store.
Last name?
Give that just a sec.
Okay.
Playing Doomsday.
No.
Yup.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Oh man. That is fantastic. That is going to be brilliant. We're going to get his last name and then we're going to head down into round 2. It is going to be a blast. Thank you to the 50 plus people who are out joining us tonight, even though a lot of pre-releases are happening.
Alright.
So what do we
David's
got?
last name SZATKOWSKI.
Interesting. All right, let's go ahead and have some fun. Doomsday versus Burn. I gotta give the edge to Burn personally.
Probably.
It's a lot of aggro, and I will say, as far as the matches to watch Doomsday go up against, this might be the one to where at least we don't have to know every card in the Doomsday deck list. Let's head on down, watch some sweet things happening. See you all there. And, woo, sorry, a little bit behind there, but we have a turn 1 Goblin Guide and a Polluted Delta. Scott dealing 18 damage, and I believe we have David who got a land off of that.
I think you mean down to 18.
I'm
That
sorry,
was a
did I
turn
say
1
up to?
Goblin Guide for 18 damage. That would be
Yes.
terrifying.
Oh, man. Justice Peanut, hello. It's good to see you. Do we have any Esper Stoneblade players? And
Not that I know of.
that's a Cabal Therapy that I don't think got anything. I'm not sure what they named, but we do have what appears to be a Barbarian Ring, a Monastery Swift Spear, a Lava Spike, a Grim Lavamancer, and a Fire Blast, which is a pretty excellent hand.
Yeah.
So next turn, we're going to see this Barbarian Ring come out along with probably the Monastery Swift Spear. Beyond that, then what we can expect is Lava Spike as well as Grim Lavamancer. And eventually we'll be seeing that Fire Blast to just close out the game. So a decent hand from Scott. I wouldn't call it phenomenal, only because that land is going to be entering tapped.
Yep.
So if he draws maybe a mountain right now, it would be excellent.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And
Alright.
that's pretty close. And it looks like he is going to be going for that basic mountain,
Mm-hmm.
and probably going to be going for that Monastery Swift Spear. Maybe drop the Grim Lavamancer as well, but I would expect, possibly because of the lack of creatures, if he knows what he's up against, might go for the Lava Spike. If he doesn't know, might just go for that Grim Lavamancer to make sure that he can kind of accommodate for anything.
Yeah. And not as a Burn player, but yeah, I'd guess the Swift Spear Lava Spike just to get that extra point in Swift Spear this turn.
Alright, and we have got a swing in down to 15, and then a hit going down to 11. Pretty solid. Not able to see actually what... Oh, okay. So that was what the top card was, and I think he's just keeping the known cards in there. So Polluted Delta coming out up to 2 mana, but does Doomsday have many options at this point? I can't really imagine so, and actually passing the turn back. Vote that Joe wears a turtleneck next time? That's brilliant. I will keep that in mind.
Alright, a year from now, or like 10 years from now, when April Fool's Day is on Friday again, it'll happen. If we're still doing this.
And am I wrong about Barbarian Ring entering tapped? I am. That does not enter
it's
tapped.
a ping land, not a...
I'm sorry.
tap.
That was incorrect of me. So it does enter untapped, and a Sulfuric Vortex.
Rough.
Pretty much exactly what he was hoping for. Gets to have a swing for 4 here to get in for down to 7 unless we see any removal. A Brainstorm in response. And... Okay, I'm going to put those into hand. And... I mean, what's he looking for at this point? I mean, especially with that, doesn't just have a whole lot of options.
Tell ya.
Oh, okay, pretty much just decided that he wants to draw land. That is the main
That's fair
thing.
enough.
So it ends up taking 4 off of this.
Mm-hmm.
Going to be going down to 7.
So he's gonna need to put a lot of gas into this next turn here. Running out of time, especially with that 2 off the vortex, 4 off this next swing presumably, and then just 2 off the vortex and he's dead. So
yeah,
it's now or never. Let's
David
see what
in a
Doomsday's
very
got.
problematic position, going for that fetch to go down to 6, about to be down to 4. I have a hard time imagining that Doomsday can take this game.
Mm-hmm.
It
looks like we're just going to see the Fire Blast here.
Okay, and that's going to close out the game.
Yep.
Excellent.
I guess that works too.
You know, if you have the win, sometimes you just take it. It works out that way.
Mm-hmm.
So, a quick win from Scott in Game 1 here in Round 2. How do you feel about wearing a green morph suit down the line? I will say, join us next Wednesday for some Modern at 7 o'clock Pacific time, where myself and a brand new co-host, someone who has not been on before, but is one of our mods, is going to be getting on stream with me to do in celebration of getting over 1,000 followers. Again, if you haven't yet, feel free to join that crowd and keep joining us.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be doing Onesie Wednesday,
Yeah.
in which we will both be doing the commentary in some nice onesies, which I will mention. The Fortnite's got me to buy a second onesie, which is absurd, because I have one, and it's a dinosaur, and I thought that was going to be perfect until I realized that we use a green screen. And dinosaurs are green, if those of you are not aware of the scientific fact that dinosaurs are green.
100% of all dinosaurs are green.
So, my dinosaur onesie would be pretty ineffective at celebrating Onesie Wednesday, though I did think about wearing it tonight, and then I admit...
For Floating Face Friday.
I forgot. Floating Face Friday, I missed out! That's... Oh, we're going to have to reschedule this.
All right, I'm down.
But you guys got me to buy a second onesie. That is my dedication to this stream. Which, as it turns out, onesies surprisingly expensive.
Well, I mean,
it's a lot of fabric.
You got one from SakuraCon. Yeah, it was expensive.
That's definitely true. But even regular ones, I looked at them online. It would have been the same price.
Oof.
Yet another reason to dislike green screens.
Oh, but they're so fun.
Eat the dinosaur ones. Eat the other onesie dinosaur style. Oh man, I'm not sure what you mean, but I actually just have it one of these days.
I mean, when you're eating your Tybalt...
I'm going to eat the Tybalt in a dinosaur onesie.
Yes!
That is brilliant. Oh man, Justice Peanut, I'm glad that you do have an owl onesie. Maybe one day you can visit the store and we can have a onesie party.
Oh, we should do that, like Saturday night onesie party in the store.
That would be actually really cool. Maybe just do like a little promotion for if you come in wearing a onesie for a set, like a Modern event. Onesie, well, it has to be a Wednesday though.
Yeah.
It's Onesie Wednesday.
This kid will sign your onesie.
Well, I've always said
want that?
I'm happy to devalue anyone's property. That's kind of what it comes down to. Oddly enough, like 3 people in the store have had me sign something.
Oh, that's amazing.
It's still weird. But basically the beginning policy was like, are you actually going to sign stuff? And I said, yeah, I'll devalue your property.
There
Sure.
you go.
Why not? Why not? Give me a Sharpie and give me the ability to vandalize your pieces of
Oh,
concrete.
yeah.
So, heading into Game 2, Doomsday on the play, and definitely has Bullet Brainstorm and a Ponder, as well as some lands. But getting rid of that one, not liking it. Discounted entry into one Modern, definitely something that I would wear a onesie and get a buy.
Oof.
Man, I think we just take our 5-round event, make it into a 6-round event. Everyone gets a buy! Yay!
Can I just wear 7
Next.
onesies and coast my way through the event?
Yes! That would be brilliant.
Oh, I would overheat in a heartbeat.
Now a quick note about last Wednesday. And I know that you guys are all the Legacy viewers, but this is just how kind of popular Modern has been in our store. Do you know how many people that we had for our Wednesday event?
30?
29.
Oof.
29. We were
Quite the event.
at a local weekly event. We were, and this is for a pretty small shop. I know that it doesn't look like it because all you see is the green screen, but we have a surprisingly good production for such a small store.
Oh, yeah.
We are now 3 people away from having a 6-round event, which is pretty impressive
That's
for just
amazing.
like a small game store.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
All right. Turn 1 Duress out of Doomsday. We actually go to that game thing that's going on.
Right. So the Duress, looking at a Mountain, a Price of Progress, an Eidolon, Monastery Swiftspear, Fire Blast, and Goblin Guide.
So looks
Taking
like
a Fire Blast, but this is going to be such a creature-heavy hand.
Oh yeah, I mean his choices were Fire Blast and Price, and when you're sitting on a single basic land, that Price isn't doing a lot.
Yep. So a hit down to 2, not going to be drawing anything. I mean, best case scenario right now, Scott, if he draws a second Mountain, is going to be providing a huge amount of damage.
Oh yeah.
So I think we have the Doomsday in hand as well as an Abrupt Decay. Does have 2 of the black mana currently. Also a Ponder.
And holding that Dark Ritual.
Okay.
It's easy 5 mana.
I will say, Stranger Ranger, right now our budget is 0 and constantly shrinking since we just bought a brand new monitor and a bunch of other stuff.
If you want to donate us plane tickets, we will gladly pay to fly you out.
That's exactly right. Okay, so an Eidolon coming down, and a hit for 2, putting him down to 16 now. I think we are going to see this Abrupt Decay take, actually, seems to be going to draw a card, revealing the Laboratory Maniac. Now, the interesting thing is that he cannot win with that now that it's in his hand, because he does have this Doomsday, needs the 3rd land, and also that Lab Maniac is no longer in his library.
Yep.
There's a decent chance that there might be one in the, another Laboratory Maniac to prevent that kind of situation.
It's always safe to have a second for scenarios like this.
So we have got another Monastery Swiftspear coming out, possibly a 1-drop. Okay, and we're going to see a Chain Lightning. Going down to 16 for this, but knocking his opponent down to 13 and following up with a swing for 6.
Yep.
So that's going to be putting him down to 7. And with this Eidolon out, now he actually, he might take the 2, go down to 7 just with this Abrupt Decay, taking some damage. So he'll be going down to 7 regardless. But that's a pretty dangerous position to be, especially when your opponent has a Price of Progress.
Oh, yeah.
David is going to have to drop this land. Pretty much has to try and win this turn.
Yeah.
Is it possible? Probably. Doomsday is a weird deck, and I can't guarantee it.
Yeah.
But usually it's, look at...
Hopefully we get to see something fun happening here.
Absolutely. I'm going to rely on you on knowing all the super fringe cards because that's your thing. The only problem is that he'll be pretty close to tapped out at the time, doesn't have any free mana in his hand currently, so even casting that is going to be a pretty bad position to put himself in. So, might end up seeing something to where he can align... Yeah, he can't even get like a Gitaxian Probe in his hand, so I don't think that he actually has the ability to win this turn.
Yeah.
So...
How much is it? The Doomsday is 4 mana?
I believe it's... no, it's triple black.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw it in the Tiny Leaders deck, which is how I know.
Okay.
So we have a Cabal Therapy, probably naming... I mean, might be naming the Price of Progress or the Eidolon. Looks to be naming the Eidolon, revealing an exquisite Firecraft. That is going to be an excellent card against this. Can't be countered. 4 damage if he gets into that 3rd land. That's going to be pretty close to a guaranteed kill, even though this Price of Progress is also not a slouch.
Yeah.
But as far as, Scott, if he draws a land, he's got to win. And almost any other spell that he draws is going to be excellent, unless it's a Sulfuric Vortex or an Exquisite Firecraft, some more of those 3-drops. But beyond that, almost any card that Scott draws is going to be winning him this game.
Yeah.
So in a pretty nice position, especially going down to 6 here, and now most cards win in the game. Even this Price of Progress actually wins in the game currently.
Yeah.
As long as, assuming that David doesn't do anything to disrupt his current game plan, which he likely will. But at least on board, Scott has got a win. So, a Ponder from David. Gets an Abrupt Decay, not going to be that useful. I think he's just going to have to shuffle and hope to draw into something else. 6-word challenge, favorite Doomsday pile. Mountain, bolt, 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 bolt. Yes! Got it. Got it. What have you got?
No idea. I'd have to read Doomsday.
Okay, how about this? Gitaxian Probe, Maniac. Yeah. Was that 4 probes and a Maniac? Yes.
Yeah.
And then you have a Brainstorm in hand. Boom. Nailed it. Easy. Easy. Magic's easy.
Yeah.
Alright. So Scott draws a card, goes for the Price of Progress.
And swing for 4.
Interesting to go for this one, especially pre-combat. I mean, it got him the win anyway. I'm a little bit curious as to what that last card in the hand is, so I'm going to see if we can get a view of that one. Another price. But I would have just been interested to see if he could actually wait casting that, because it is an instant. It's not a sorcery.
Mm-hmm.
It does give your monster a Swift Bear prowess, but I don't know. I guess it doesn't actually make much of a difference.
Yeah.
All things considered, come to think of it. Shelldock Isle, Embercold, Petal. That's probably a good one.
Yeah.
I will say, honestly, I don't know Doomsday that well.
Yeah.
So, a quick win for Burn. We're going to try and get another match up.
Yeah.
I will introduce us, say hi to some people, so I will see you all in the booth very shortly. And then, Vic, I will be getting to your question in just one moment, as soon as I am back in that booth. Alright, let's see what we can get. I will see you all there. Hello and thank you for joining. My name is TJ. Joe is my co-host tonight, who's trying to find another match for us here in round 2. It is excellent to have you. We've got about 60 plus people, which is much more reminiscent of some of the old times of our stream. But I can definitely get behind that, especially with the pre-release happening pretty much all over the world, pretty close at this point. It's understandable that we're missing some of those numbers. Vic P21. The best places to buy a budget deck. Excuse me a moment. Sorry, feeling a bit under the weather right now. The best places to buy a budget deck, or at least to investigate them, likely you'll want to check out a site called MTG Goldfish. Look for a guy by the name of Saffron Olive, which a little bit of an unusual name, but you can find it. Becomes much easier to find. Does a lot of budget builds for varying budgets through that website, writing various articles and ways to upgrade them. I would highly recommend that one as a good place to start for whatever you are looking for. Also, it's a big thing to keep in mind is to not play a deck you won't enjoy for a budget reason. Sometimes it's better to build a less optimal deck that you will enjoy than to build a good cheap deck that you just won't. Because at the end of the day, this is a game and it's about having fun.
Yep. So we're going to have Bryce against the wall. And I'll double check in a minute what he's playing. And we're going to have him against Nathaniel on Affinity, who we saw earlier.
Okay, and which Bryce?
Your new co-host, Bryce.
Excellent. Alright, so if you could confirm what he is playing, and I can get the rest of it
I will
checked out.
give him a chance to move over before I go and harass him some more.
Excellent. It is going to be a good time. Hopefully that did answer your question somewhat. To Moncon, thanks for joining. I'm not sure if I've seen you in the chat before. Also to VicP21, thank you for joining. I'm not sure if I've seen you either. Dice Hoarder mentioning, yeah, I actually got very lucky. I started off playing Red Deck Wins in Standard, and it actually became the deck that I still love to this day, so I kind of looked into that one, and I even found myself building Affinity without ever playtesting it. And again, I advocate for playtesting decks before you buy them, but I got lucky again, because I bought Affinity with no idea how it played, and ended up loving it. So, what do we got?
Tezzerator.
Oh, yes.
Something fun.
So Affinity versus Tezzerator heading into game 3?
Dude.
Who got what?
Tezzerator.
This is going to be curious.
Yeah.
Let's have some fun. I mean, who do you give your edge to? The bigger deck or the faster deck?
I kind of want to say Tezzerator.
Tezzerator's sweet. Let's have fun with it. See you there. So, look at that. A familiar sight from Nathaniel. These players getting things early. We have got a Leyline of the Void from Bryce, probably being aware of that Sword of the Meek combo.
Mm-hmm.
And we have got a Chalice on 1. Not going to be super effective against Tezzerator, but a little bit effective.
Considering Tezzerator plays his own Chalice for one frequently.
Exactly.
And another fun thing that we see from Bryce's deck with that Leyline is he could very well be playing a Helm combo. So he's just got main board place at a Leyline, sometimes good interaction with his opponents, other times just a solid combo piece.
Other than that, now you did mention a pretty sweet card that we are going to be seeing in this deck, possibly, hopefully.
I mean, we're seeing red out of him, so I want to very confidently say Dak Faden out of Tezzerator, which is a lovely card, and it's going to do wonders. There we go!
The Dak Faden!
So much strength here, especially against Affinity. you know, your opponent's entire deck is artifacts.
And next turn he gets
Go
to
wild.
loot. Oh, and no haste out of this Affinity deck means that whatever Nathaniel gets to do, now this is going to be a plussing deck fade, and he's going to get to do a Faithless Looting. Oh, this is glorious.
It's going to feel good.
And that is an Academy Ruins in Bryce's hand as well, which is going to be... has his own Sword of the Meek.
Oh, God.
This is glorious!
So much strength.
And actually the Helm of Obedience is in that hand as soon as he gets a 4th land.
Deserator.
I think he has the kill.
I'll go find up another match in just a minute here, but...
Oh my goodness.
Deserator.
So let's go ahead and take a look at this Helm of Obedience. You put the top... X-tap, they put the top card of their library into their graveyard. What? They don't really... Wow.
Because it doesn't go to their graveyard, you repeat, and you get your opponent's entire library that way.
That was beautiful.
Love it. Oh, deck doing what it's supposed to.
Wow.
All right.
That was fun. I mean, that was a short game, but that was fun. I'm just glad that
they spent more time moving to the feature match table than they spent at the feature match.
No, we made sure to give them a time extension, right? It's important.
They've only got 30 minutes left to congratulate each other in D-sideboard.
Yeah, I mean, showboating definitely going to play a factor in this time frame. Man, let's head back to the booth, and I guess we can try and find another one.
I'll go find another match.
Let's get another one and have some more fun. We'll see you all there. Alright, well, that was so much fun. We're going to try and get another one in here. But to continue that point of play is that another thing is that when you're looking to build that deck, make sure that you play test the deck first. It is very important. And much like Dice Hoarder was saying, it's a game. It's about having fun. Make sure that you're going to enjoy it, because at the end of the day, the game is expensive. One way or another, whether it be time, money, energy, thought process, whatever it is that you are actually spending that matters to you, you are spending it. And so if you are not going to enjoy your time doing it, it's not worth it. So make sure that when you are investing into a deck, to make sure it's fun.
We have the Family Feud.
I'd have no idea what you just said to me, though.
It's the two Donaldsons fighting each other.
The Donaldson brothers!
Yeah, it's a Family Feud.
Oh, man. The Eric Bryce showdown?
Yeah. So
I don't know what they're playing, though.
Rug Delver and Reanimator against the wall.
Okay. So Rug Delver versus Reanimator. I do think that's actually is Delver favored in that one?
I want to say Reanimator is.
I guess actually it depends on if he does have that Sphinx.
Sphinx to the kitchen sink.
Sure. Yeah, that.
Steel Wind.
Yeah, that one. Sphinx of the Steel Wind is probably a huge factor against the Delver deck. I guess just the density of counter magic, but if it's able to fight through any of that, any of those creatures come out in Reanimator's favor.
Whatever Reanimator gets out is going to do a world of hurt to this Delver deck. A Delver.
Alright, we're going to head on down, but to quickly answer which one of them is the alpha, we're about to find out. Heading into Game 3, which one of them is the favorite child? Let's have some fun. Alright, and man, these players are fast. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
So, we have got a turn 1 Swamp from Eric. Pretty solid play, all things considered. We might even see him going for an earlier, if he has that Entomb, might go for it. Oh, and actually going for an early Thoughtseize. Going to be able to disrupt some of that counter magic if we see any of it. I think...
Thoughtseizing himself. Oh, holding a Gristlebrand and the Reanimate in hand.
Has the days to put down the Underground Sea next turn, making sure that it isn't wastelanded this turn. That's a pretty... So actually, that's going to be incredibly good. And that is hilariously awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, and to Captain, hello, it is good to see you.
Hey.
Man, this is glorious. I love it. So, Thoughtseize himself, and if Bryce isn't able to put together something that is going to just answer this, in a huge amount of trouble, the big issue is that he might almost not play anything this turn so that he can do a Force of Will and be able to pay for the days. But is that a brainstorm or a force of will in his hand?
I believe that's just a brainstorm hiding in the back of his hand. I think he's bluffing this turn, but he doesn't have a whole lot going on
And
for him.
actually, he got the force of... Eric got the force of will? I mean,
Okay.
that's what he drew, so...
And going for the Animate Deads, who's not paying any life to get this Griselbrand into play. Oh, things
I
are
guess
looking
pass?
good for Reanimate, yeah.
Man, so we have got... I mean, Reanimate's a hard card to pull out, but we can definitely do it because it's just the text on it is... Oh no, there's a newer version of it. Oh, this is Animate Dead, I'm sorry.
Yeah, this is the Animate Dead.
That's why.
Which is a wall of text if you pull up one of the old editions.
Oh man, but the newer
shit.
version is worse.
So compact. So it's an enchantment, comes into play, you pull a creature out of your yard with this enchantment attached to it, and the
Swing
creature
for
gets
6.
-1/-0. If Animate Dead ever leaves play, return the creature to your graveyard.
Okay.
So it's a Reanimate that you're not paying life for.
And I think he might end up... So he is going up to 23. Might see him actually just put himself back down to 16.
Mhm.
Just for the purposes of going for 7 cards.
He can wait here, though, because he's in a winning board state. He
He's
doesn't
2
need...
force of will right now.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
He doesn't need to... Yeah, okay. And that was it. All right. Some
Wow.
riveting, just grindy Game 2 matches here. Or Round 2 matches. I'll see what's still going on.
You know what? What we're really going for right now is pure number. We're all about quantity here at Geek
We want
Fortress.
everyone on the stream Round 2.
Absolutely. Oh my goodness. It is just closeout versus closeout. On the bright side, you get to continue hearing the sweet sounds of this transition. Wow! Oh man, I'm getting unbuttoned here. Oh, look at me, so scandalous with my white t-shirt. Although you dropped Animate Dead in favor of Show and Tell, so many games. Oh, the lightning round? Essentially, this could pretty much be called the lightning round of Legacy. I feel like people are just waiting to be like, okay, so I'm just going to sweep this and we can wait. Slower games of rock, paper, scissors. That's actually hilarious. Now, while we're waiting for another match, let's play a fun game of 6 words. Toss them in there. Everybody does already know the rules, but just in case, I'm going to toss it in there. Let's get some 6 words going, and I'll play a quick lightning round of that one. So toss in your question. I'll answer in exactly 6 words as fast as I possibly can with almost no thought, which tends to lead to me saying things wrong. But it's fun. For me, hopefully for you. Terpskadai, that is funny. I will make sure that he sees your comment. You get a +1 for clever. But yeah, certainly an interesting one, and it is good to see you. I am still actually surprised that we've got about 60 people in here tonight. I'm hoping that some of you are new. If you are brand new, be sure to mention it, even if I've already said hello to you incidentally by thinking that you're new. If you want to identify yourself as one of the new people, I would love to welcome you by name. Hopefully some of those other Fortnites in there will also welcome you as well. 6 words favorite movie series. For a series, Lord of the Rings. The Rings. That's a word. And it's the same series as the one that is The Rings. 6 words, why is Legacy better than Modern? That is actually an interesting one. So can I do this in 6 words?
Alright.
Honestly, different strokes for different folks.
Alright, so we've got Alurin and Bugdelver.
Okay. This is going to be sweet. So Bugdelver up against Alurin, continuing the lightning round.
Oh,
You have to see Terpskadai's comment because it's funny. I mentioned that I would tell him that you said that.
Yeah.
Or tell you.
I like it.
Nailed
And
it.
Quick, why is Legacy better than Modern? Cavern Harpy. Need I say more?
Alright, let's go have fun. Watch this one, and we'll get them before they head into the next game. Alurin versus Bugdelver, and then we'll enter some more. Alright.
Finally.
Heading into game 3?
Yeah.
Oh, glorious. This is our 4th match.
Yeah.
We're going to go for the full...
Unfortunately, someone's already done, and we haven't gotten them on stream yet.
I mean, we're already
Miracles
beyond...
is the one that finished early.
Oh, I mean, we're already past the hat trick.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Moorish Idol, welcome. Though, we do try and be positive, but it's good to have you. I will say, while I prefer Modern, I like Legacy. I don't particularly, and I know that you all argue with me on this one, but I don't think that one is particularly better than the other.
Mm-hmm.
They are different.
Oh, except Legacy's the best.
Except Legacy's the best. You know what? It's a Friday, so Legacy's the best.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But no, I mean, there's fun things in Modern. Like, there's some cards that just don't make the cut for Legacy that you get to mess around with in Modern. Like Mystic Snake.
Like Mystic Snake. Alright, so, both players getting ready here. Bug Delver versus Allurn. Do you have to give the edge to Bug Delver just because of their huge amount of counter magic?
I want to say, yeah, the amount of counter magic and the fact that, you know, again, all the creatures that he's got in his deck are coming in for free once that Allurn lands if he isn't poised on his combo. And, you know, if Allurn can, or if Delver can keep him off of that, he's just going to be the more aggressive player.
Yeah, and also having this black, as I was about to say, does allow him for a lot of hand disruption in addition.
Oh, Bone Shredder. Love it.
So let's go ahead and get this Bone Shredder up.
Ooh, and slightly unfortunate for the Delver player, we're seeing he's got the Allurn he can pull out of Coleman's hand, but he's also just sitting on an Eternal Witness.
Yeah, and actually, you know, if he ends up with a Cabal Therapy, anything like that, might almost want to go for the Eternal Witness early on. But actually, taking that Allurn, and Coleman's not going to be able to cast that Eternal Witness for a while, so may just be giving himself to delay that. Okay.
Yes, Peter, he is playing Recruiters. This is the full Allurn. Oh, and there's the Recruiter we're talking about.
Lovely. Are these altered tropes? Oh, a quick note to anybody who's brand new to our Legacy. We do not sanction our Legacy tournaments. We do allow proxies.
Mm-hmm.
So, you can have any number of proxies in your 75, more than 75 if you want. They have to be good. They have to actually look decent.
Mm-hmm.
And if you win any credit, you do have to spend it on the cards that you're proxying.
Correct.
Other than that, you can have as many. We try and make it to make Legacy more attainable, more...
just more accessible for everyone, especially because this location is right by a high school, so this allows people who can't just, I'm going to drop 3K on a Legacy deck to play this weekend. You know, instead of, I'm going to spend 5 years building up to it. No, come, play, have fun, and as you do well, spend that money to slowly work towards owning the Legacy deck.
Exactly.
It just helps get new faces in the store.
So, Verdant Catacombs joining that Tropical, and from Nathan... Excuse me. I'm under the weather today. Hin to Turok.
Yep.
So, going to be taking down 2 random cards from Coleman's hand.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastically good card.
Oh, yeah. One of the few discard spells that's going to rip every land out of your hand every time you don't want it to.
Hopefully... Oh, and double land...
I mean, that's why him can't get reprinted.
And actually, I think he does still have 1 land.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, actually, I think he doesn't. That's the Bone Shredder. So he's not going to be able to cast this Eternal Witness right now.
Brutal.
And especially with that Wasteland taking down the Trop, I think that Nathan has pretty much taken this game under control.
Oh yeah.
He has the capacity to fall behind again, but it's not likely, especially dropping down another Wasteland right now.
Oh man, yeah.
Nathan is very solidly in control of this one.
For sure.
Okay, and to Nikolash and Spike, thank you for appreciating the policy. It's something that we did put a lot of thought into and asked all the people who currently had decks in.
Mm-hmm.
What it came down to is that Legacy players want to play Legacy.
Yeah.
That's the point.
Mm-hmm. And especially with a lot of the bigger stores, you know, kind of pulling back their support, looking at you, Star City, it's important to get, you know, as many people, especially new faces, into the format as possible. And, you know, a lot of cards are constantly going up in price. Duels aren't getting any cheaper anytime soon. So this is just a nice way to get as many people playing as possible. And that's what we want.
Exactly. It's about playing the game. And definitely it's hard to do that for other ones because we can't sanction these ones. And that's the problem.
Yeah.
That's the downside. And so that's why we keep Modern the way that it is. We keep sanctioning those tournaments. But after talking to them, you know, we've been able to have a growing Legacy community. You know, down the line we'll be doing occasional ones that actually are sanctioned, possibly on like you know, something that we kind of promote. But for now, most of our Legacy players are okay with, you know, you're not going to be going to the Pro Tour for a Legacy format.
Yeah, and this is, you know, we're getting regularly 4 rounds of Legacy every week. That's what we're really looking for.
Exactly. It's all about the game. So we do have that Wasteland out. A little bit surprised to see it not going for that Underground Sea at this point. Could just be waiting to try and keep him off of 4 lands specifically.
Or just trying to keep him off double green if he's particularly afraid of the Alluring combo.
Okay, that's pretty
However,
reasonable.
we're seeing a double forest here, so he's going to have trouble with that.
And I think we're just going to see that Eternal Witness coming in.
Yep.
I'd love to see a Stifle right now. I think it's unlikely, but I would love to see it. It would make me happy. So we are going to see it. He's going to grab... Oh, actually, he's
going for a land.
So I think he does have another Allure in hand to not want to go for that one.
Possible. Or he could just be trying to get red mana to hardcast his Imperial Recruiter as well.
I do think I see an Allure out there.
Oh, and another him. That's going to be pretty painful for Coleman.
And if that ends up taking his land, which of course it will.
Yeah, the laws of him to Turok.
Look at that.
Land
Takes
and
out.
Alluring.
Nailed it.
Backbreaking.
I mean, if you want to talk about the most brutal thing that you could have gone for, that is exactly it. Still some value cards in there, but my goodness.
Yeah.
So, heading into... Actually, Nathan's still got a little bit of time. Might take down that Underground Sea. Leaving Coleman with just green mana sounds pretty alright to me.
Oh, for sure. Especially seeing Coleman holding that Baleful Strix in his hand, getting rid of his sea, leaving him with no mana able to cast it would be pretty rough.
Ooh, and actually taking down the Ewit as well, just trying to strip the entire board.
Yep.
Alright. So we have got a fetch land, which is going to be activated now. Going into 3 lands. Now, we did see him minus that Liliana to take down the Eternal Witness. How do you feel about that as opposed to keeping it around for an extra turn, letting him have just a 2-1? The only downside to that is that actually would have ended up getting that Liliana down to 1.
Yep.
And I think possibly just saying, you know what, let's lose it now, but at least I took down the creature.
Yeah, he's losing something, and this way he knows exactly what he's trading with, as opposed to if Coleman just has a bunch of dead cards in hand. Nathan doesn't really know. He's just getting the guaranteed instead of the mystery value.
Right, so a fetch from Coleman. Probably going to be going just to fix the rest of his colors right now.
Yeah.
And it looks like a Taiga might be coming out. Gives him the red mana, and actually the 3rd green mana, which I was expecting something that might... I guess he probably isn't running Badlands, anything like that. That's going to give him both red and green. We might see blue and green if he has another tropical island, but that might just be a one-off.
We've already seen 2 out of him. Well, he played 1 and had 1 fall to the him to Turok.
Oh, you're right.
Going for the Imperial Recruiter here, just trying to build up creature mass. Certainly nothing wrong with that.
Uh-huh. Okay. Bombtron, thank you for at least... I appreciate that from this stream, we have encouraged more people to play the game. That's what I want to say.
Especially my personal favorite format. Love to see new faces coming in.
And in general, I mean, as just a general statement, I am really encouraged by the idea that what we're doing excites other people about it.
Yeah, that's always great to hear.
So thank you for that. It is nice hearing those kind of things is really encouraging to us. It's a lot of time to do, but it's so far been fantastic. Though down the line I might end up having to find some people who can cover. Since eventually I'll be going to GPs. I will be at GPLA. If anyone's going to be there, find me. I'd love to talk to you. It's going to be a lot of fun.
He'll sign everything you own.
With or without permission.
TJ's gonna have a backpack full of Sharpies. He's gonna be signing something constantly. Every card his opponent puts down, he's gonna sign.
I mean, I'll just flick Sharpies with no cap on them to try and mark something. So, a brainstorm from Nathan. Man. So, what have we got here? End up keeping both cards off of the Sylvan Library, going down to 8, though, which is pretty glorious.
That is bold.
Nicola, I will say, if you want me to devalue everything you have on you, and we have the time, I'll be open to it. How about that?
There you go.
Okay, so, Bombtron, if you ever move to Snohomish or anywhere in the area, you can just come play here every Friday and then build the deck that way.
For sure.
Self-plug in our own town. We're going to get the key to the city someday. Man. We're going to become the tourist attraction.
Ooh.
So, a Death Rat Shaman coming down for Nathan. I think right now Nathan has just really taken on the value game.
Mm-hmm.
He had a really strong early lead, but Coleman's been following it up pretty nicely. His own Death Rat Shaman coming out, has an Imperial Recruiter, which isn't fantastic once it's on the board, but he's able to dig him into this Death Rat Shaman, which puts him at the 4th mana that is not actually able to be wastelanded, something like that.
Right. I'm a little surprised we didn't see more from Nathan on this last turn, just considering, he kept so much off of his Sylvan Library. He didn't do a whole lot with it, which I thought was kind of surprising. Unless he was just using that as, converting his life into digging cards.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see.
Especially if he doesn't feel a whole lot of pressure from what Coleman is doing, we definitely, might have been just something to not lock him to those 2 cards.
Right. If he anticipates Coleman's going to either, fizzle out or combo and kill him in one fell swoop, he can see his life as just a resource and just he can spend extra life to dig and try and find his response.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so has the Wasteland going for that one. I mean, these Wastelands have been brutal.
Mm-hmm.
I think 3 of them this game has been excellent.
At least the Death Rat Shaman is giving Coleman access to one of the cards in his hand.
Okay. Sweeks, does a gorilla suit count as a onesie? Is it an actual gorilla suit? Because if so, yes, that does count. I will accept that as long as it's 1 piece. If it's 2 pieces, then it would be a twosie. Hey,
a gorilla bikini, if you will.
Take that to the beach. Oh man, that just sounds hilarious to me. I feel like that's the kind of picture that you would end up putting on like your social media picture is just you like laying down on the beach in like a gorilla twosie.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what have we got? Looks like we are in Nathan's turn currently.
I believe, we're still in Nathan's turn. Coleman
has an Abrupt Decay in hand. Might end up pointing it at that Death Rat Shaman.
Death Rat or Sylvan. I suppose the.
I'm not sure why it hit his own Sylvan Scrying or Sylvan.
Oh, so I thought you were referring to Coleman.
No, I'm sorry. Both players did have an Abrupt Decay. Nathan going for that Death Rat Shaman to keep him off. Mm-hmm. Still on double green, continuing to just control the board.
Yeah, and I think that board control is going to be all Nathan really needs at this point. He's so far ahead.
Exactly. And while the scoreboard, for those of you who are new players, your life total is not a scoreboard. It is another resource. But the scoreboard would tell you that Coleman is winning.
Right.
But
if we look at the hands, the board state, it's Nathan.
Yeah, Nathan has been at a huge advantage for the majority of this game. Mm-hmm. And, has 2 Abrupt Decays in Coleman's hand, but just no way to actually cast them. This double green mana has been brutal.
And those hymns from Nathan, just ripping all the land out of Coleman's hand, so many wastelands, it's just going to be an uphill battle for the rest of this match for Coleman, just having the colors he needs in his deck.
And actually the Delver about to come down for Nathan.
Oof.
And, okay, so setting those cards to the side, he might actually be deciding, because I don't think there was an instant or sorcery in that pile as well, so playing the Delver doesn't mean that it's going to be flipping. And actually taking 2 cards going down to 4,
oh man,
we might end up seeing a play to where he tries to end up stacking his deck to get that flipped. Mm-hmm. So we do have the Delver here, and a Death Rat Shaman again coming down. So Nathan with a pretty commanding board that's, even if it's that 2 damage per turn via Death Rat Shaman activations, and then that maybe 1 damage from, another 3 damage from that, it's gonna go quickly. And with Coleman not being able to actually make any kind of proactive plays, in a very excellent position. All right.
Yeah, I mean, 2 Death Rat Shamans is an incredibly powerful clock, and I think Nathan's going to be able to really capitalize on that while Coleman's sitting here floundering with just his double forest.
So, Nathan actually gaining 2 life with his Death Rat Shaman, going for another thing. So, putting himself up to 5 after that fetch, so going down to 3, back up to 5. And I kind of like that as just preserving his life total a little bit, because 4 is a dangerous place to be, and this actually gives him the option of keeping a card, going down to 1, but against a double green mana base, I'm not that worried about that.
No.
And then you can use your Death Rat Challenge to just dig yourself back out of a situation.
Yeah, I mean, the double Death Rat is so hard to fight through, especially Coleman not playing, any form of effective board wipe. I'm not seeing how he's going to come out of this match.
Yeah. So, one notable thing is that Grixis Delver, I think, is actually in a really solid point in Legacy right now, especially the versions that go for a Green Splash for Abrupt Decay, from my knowledge.
Yeah.
So, Grixis Delver, definitely a great choice, as far as Legacy goes. Okay, so Coleman going for a fetch. Really needs to get something going this turn because he is under an enormous amount of pressure. And after the amount of digging that Nathan's been able to do, I'd be surprised if this Delver didn't flip. Both of these Deathrite Shamans providing a clock or are just going to make it hard for any kind of beatdown game plan from Coleman.
Right.
Going for just a basic island, still wary of Wasteland, or might even just be starting to run out of those dual lands because of the 3 Wastelands and some of the cards that end up getting hit by that Hymn to Turok. So a Verdant Catacombs...
And 2 Baleful Strix, uncastable currently for Coleman.
The Verdant Catacombs is going to help out decently, and I think that's the reason why he's keeping it. I mean, I don't want to say that I'd love to see it, but I would love to see Nathan go for a Hymn to Turok and just take down the land again.
I'd like to see Coleman get a chance to do a bit more of this game. This has just been painful to watch.
Absolutely. MTG Deck Talk, it is good to see you. Thank you for joining. I don't think that we've seen you before, so welcome. If you do ever have any questions, comments, feedback, anything like that, feel free to let us know. We are always looking to improve, happy to interact, and we do pride ourselves on being interactive. As always, hit that follow button. It makes us feel nice.
I think you might have been here before, because I think he was following me on Twitter.
Oh, really?
I think so. I could be wrong.
That is possible.
I've got a whopping 20 followers to keep track of.
Oh, okay. Different. It's the same person with a different name. Good to see you, Nesto.
Hey.
So, we have a Thoughtseize revealing 2 Abrupt Decays, 3 Baleful Strix, and a Dreamstalker.
I mean, a lot of great cards, just not a lot going on with them.
Yeah, and that Delver still not flipping, interestingly enough. But, you know, going to be dropping down, as long as there's still instants and sorceries to hit, going to be dropping, and here is the Aluren.
Actually dropping his Aluren.
Has the Dreamstalker, has the Baleful, basically needs to use these Baleful Strix, needs to draw into the combo pieces.
Yep, and that's going to be, you know, very high value free Strixes. This is what Coleman needed, and I would love to see this match go all the way for him. Alright, Strix number 1. Oh, and he's even holding the Dreamstalker, so I think he actually has this game. Dreamstalker picking up Imperial Recruiter, getting him...
This is a win.
Yeah, I believe Coleman has this, and I would love to see it play out.
As long as Nathan doesn't have anything that's going to disrupt this in hand, does Aluren take this game after all of this?
I believe he does, and I'm so excited.
Oh my goodness.
If Nathan has a response, he also has to sequence it perfectly here. Aluren can be really tricky to interact with, and I love that this is happening. I'm so excited.
This is amazing! Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So, now Nathan seems to be looking at his hand. He does have Abrupt Decays. Ooh, and a Golgari Charm. I think in response to that Dreamstalker. And I think that's pretty much the right time to do it because Coleman out of cards in hand, at least to play. He could drop down, say, a Deathrite Charm, but that's going to sweep a decent amount of that board. Also, I think he left up mana 4 in Abrupt Decay, and we might actually see Nathan take this one after all.
Yeah, I mean, he can go for, you know, wiping the board, or he can just get that Aluren. I think wiping the board is probably safer right now, but that does leave Coleman in a position where he can, you know, just draw and re-win the game.
Alright.
It's an interesting position.
Let's see here. So Parasitic Strix coming out. And is this where we try and see a response with maybe an Abrupt Decay on that Imperial Recruiter?
I think...
Because
I don't know.
I guess you'll have the Parasitic Strix resolve first.
So, drain him for 1.
Okay, so this
or
one
2,
is actually...
excuse me. It's the drain for 2. And then we're going to see...
That wipes the board.
Yep.
And, interestingly enough, if he has the mana to activate both of these Deathrite Shamans, because otherwise we might actually see... Okay, so Abrupt Decaying that in response, because otherwise we might have actually seen him just win by bouncing his Parasitic Strix, recasting that one to drain him if he couldn't actually pay enough for that.
He doesn't have any way to bounce the Strix right now, though.
Yep, so I think because that Dreamstalker, you know, in response to the Dreamstalker still on the stack, takes down the Parasitic Strix, and I think bounces his own land, gives him mana for a Deathrite Shaman.
Well, he doesn't need mana. Who's he doing?
I
I think picking up the Dreamstalker with the Dreamstalker instead of the land, I believe it was what just happened there.
And I think he might just be picking up the... I don't think he has the capacity to win. I think he just passed the turn back. And while Nathan, he's at 1, so Coleman, he's not far off from just winning by resolving a Parasitic Strix.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that.
Unfortunately, there's plenty of creatures to fuel those Deathrite Shamans right now, though. And I believe Nathan has more than enough black mana to keep that going.
Mm-hmm.
So, we can see activate 1, response, get him... Oh, jeez, the 3rd. Technically, he didn't need to actually pay mana for that, but that is up to him.
I suppose so. Alright. Now, a quick note to Captain, asking if anyone is doing pre-release. I don't believe so. I think Cole and I will hop on and just do a little bit of, talking to people and having fun. But I gotta say, our ability to actually talk about the pre-release is going to be very subpar, especially since Limited, when you didn't get to see the deck building, didn't get to see what's in the pool, and also just, you're not on a player's side. It's really awful to watch, especially sealed as opposed to draft.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, why didn't the Delver guy exile land with 1 Deathrite Shaman, then activate the other? I think it's because he went for the Abrupt Decay instead, and actually, we might have seen that play, but...
I think what he's asking is he could have used 1 Deathrite Shaman for mana
to get the 2 damage, or to even gain the 2 life.
We'll use 1 for a mana to cast the Abrupt Decay, leaving him a land and a Deathrite Shaman to get either the life or damage activation, while still resolving his Abrupt Decay.
I
it's
like
anyone's guess. Yeah, I think that would have been a perfectly fine play.
May just not have seen it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we have 1 Abrupt Decay on the Deathrite Shaman. Has...
Not amazing, but, it's the kind of thing Coleman needs to be doing right now.
Yep.
Seeing an activation and response.
It actually might be going for some... Looks like getting a mana off of it. Not sure what color.
And just letting it float for now.
Not sure what we'll be seeing. Not sure what we will be seeing.
And there's that Dreamstalker coming back down again.
Okay, so in response, we've got an Abrupt Decay taking down the Deathrite Shaman, just so that it doesn't get to stick around. That Dreamstalker is going to have to pick what it goes for. Mm-hmm. Possibly picking itself, might be picking a land.
Looks like we're going to see an activation on that Deathrite Shaman on its way out.
And man, this has been surprisingly grindy.
Mm-hmm.
So a game that I really didn't expect to learn to have a hand in pretty much at all, especially after those early turns. Triple Wasteland able to take it down. I think 3 Hymn to Turox, all of them taking down pretty much every land in Allurin's hand when they resolve. It's been an excellent game for Nathan, and Coleman has just continued to come back.
Mm-hmm.
So, and actually, Nathan's at 3 after some pretty aggressive Sylvan libraries.
Yep.
He has a lot of capacity to dig what he needs, but this has been quite the grindy match, and it's gone a completely different... Is that 3 lands? I think one of those is a non-land.
He's got 2 lands, and I can't tell what the 3rd card is, but...
Man. Mm-hmm. Okay. So, we have got... Looks like a Misty Rainforest coming down, but Nathan not doing a whole lot. And I think he might just start going for the Drain kill. There's enough instants and sorceries across the board.
That's his plan here.
And I don't think he has a whole lot of other options.
And
a
Sylvan
library.
from Coleman, not the worst he can be doing right now, because he really needs to find a response himself.
Mm-hmm. And that is a swing with a 1/5.
Yeah.
So
easy block.
Yeah, just a nice easy block. Might almost encourage Nathan, if instant sorceries start running low, might even attack. Now, does Nathan still have an Abrupt Decay in hand? No, he used it on a Deathrite Shaman.
Yep. Oh, he does have one in hand, though. I believe that's something he must have
probably going to be taking down that Sylvan Scrag, especially with Coleman having the life advantage. Mm-hmm. If it's going to get him the win, we could, especially with Bug Delver not having those lightning bolts for reach, if he gets to his draw step with that, he'll very likely be drawing an extra card. Okay.
Or just digging deep enough to see what he needs to pull this game out. And yep, there's the Abrupt Decay on the Sylvan Library. And let's see if that was enough for Nathan.
Let's see here. Sorry.
Alright, Nathan down to 2. A lovely, lovely place off this fetch land.
Feels so safe being at 2 life.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's still got his 2 Deathrite Shamans open. Gives him a lot of reach in terms of life gain. But 2 can still be a pretty scary place.
Okay, so we have got...
Let's
see, put together a Sidisi ad nauseum combo. That is gloriously painful. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I occasionally play it, but, you know, I don't play. So a Tarmogoyf coming down, it's going to present a nice clocky, especially since he doesn't have to pay for it. And I think that Abrupt Decay, you know, took down the Sylvan Scrying.
I don't know that he knows he doesn't have to pay for it. It looks like he's still paying for all of his creatures and casting them as sorceries. I don't think he realizes that Sylvan isn't one-sided. I'll let him know about the Goyf dice.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's... Okay, I think they're getting it.
Oh.
What?
Goyf is too big for the Goyf dice, apparently.
The Goyf is... Oh, is it the maximum? Is there...
There's no Planeswalker.
There is no Planeswalker.
No,
hey!
Liliana. There's a Liliana from earlier in the game.
Man.
So it is the maximum.
Oh, okay, so, to Shoggoth. That's a sweet name. Welcome. Thank you. We are happy to have you. I'm not sure if we've seen you before, but they are, I believe, some proxy duels. We do allow proxy in our store.
Correct.
Normally they have to be color. I think made a little bit of a exception this time because you may not have been fully aware of that when we made that rule.
Yeah.
But we do allow proxies. I'm a little bit thrown off by the fact that there's a tribal card in there as well. Maybe a Bitter Blossom somewhere down the line? But I really don't think that there was. So I'm a little bit thrown off by that being in there as well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure which deck it would have come out of, but apparently there's one in there.
Yeah.
I guess, actually, if Bryce is there, if you could ask him what that tribal card is.
Yeah.
So we will find out. All right.
Which price should I be asking?
Hey, Donald, Bryce.
What's the tribal?
What's the tribal in there? What's the tribal card in
If
there?
they have a maximum Goyf.
It's a 7/8, not an 8.
Isn't there a 7/8 side on there?
Land, instant, sorcery, creature, enchantment.
I thought our dice had
artifact,
7/8 on there.
Planeswalker. It only has 1 through 6.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Okay.
Got it.
Right.
Okay. So, turns out that our Goyf dice isn't
Yeah.
as big as we thought.
Yep.
There we go.
Alright.
Alright.
Okay.
Anyway, there is the end of round 2. Now, to people asking, shouldn't they be on turns? They got a time extension for moving over.
Yeah.
Just to address that one really quickly.
Mm-hmm. And
So,
the clock in here doesn't always exactly match the clock they have out there, so...
ours is an approximate that I hit
Yep.
when I assumed that they started the timer.
Mm-hmm.
Usually I'm pretty close, but not always. So let's go back to the booth, and we'll be getting ready for round 3. Man, it's weird to say that we're only going to round 3 when we have seen so many decks
Oh,
already.
yeah.
So let's head on up and have some fun. Hello, thanks for joining. My name is TJ.
My name's Joe.
And we are streaming from Geek Fortress in Snohomish, Washington, having a blast with some
Yep.
Legacy tonight.
Oh,
4
yeah.
rounds of it, 10 players. We've been able to get...
12, actually, I think we're up to now.
Oh, did we get an additional 2?
Yep.
So we've been able to get almost everyone on the camera, especially
Oh, yeah.
since some of those games have been going fast.
Especially round 2, having 4 matches going back to back.
Glorious. Almost went for the full Grand Slam. I know that 4 would normally be the Grand Slam, but since there's another 2 matches going,
Yeah.
just doesn't quite count for me. I don't know about you, but got to see a massive Tarmogoyf in that one. Joe, thanks for joining me tonight.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure to be here.
Absolutely. And as we're waiting for that round 3, we're down to play a little bit of a game of... Can we put elves on the screen? Do we have elves out there? I thought Cole was on elves.
Yeah, I don't think there's an elves in the store tonight. If I see one, I will definitely get them on stream for you guys, but I don't think that's an option.
Unfortunately...
We have a lot of cool stuff tonight, though.
We are going to... If there is elves out there, we'll get it on. If there isn't, there's always next week. And there's someone who definitely does play elves pretty consistently. But Coleman on Allurin, which is not what I was expecting.
Yeah.
So, a little bit surprised to see that. That's kind of the elves play that I was expecting. Now, Captain, saying you have friends wanting to play Legacy, you want to play but don't have a lot of money. Is there a budget Legacy deck? Yes! Legacy Burn.
Yep.
It is very budget. Actually, it's cheaper than Modern Burn.
And there's also Legacy Nourishing Lich. It's like 200 for the full 75. It's wonderful. Turn 1, mono black storm. Play it. You'll have a great time.
It is pretty sweet.
I still have hands. Don't
Yeah, go ahead and raise them up really quick.
Let's
go ahead and...
I've still got my arms.
Fantastic. That is delightful.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all kinds of fun to be had. Now, just a quick note, I do have to put a highlight on it. Joe, you recently went to SakuraCon, did you not?
I did.
And did you not cosplay?
I love cosplaying. Yeah, it's great.
And tell me a little bit about what you went for, because I know that it's a Pokemon character.
Really quickly though, something on the stream. Stryfo. Unfortunately, Nourishing Lich spiked in price when Nourishing Shoal spiked in price for Modern. The playset of Shoals is now $40.
Right.
Which is backbreaking to the price of that deck. It used to be sub 100, and it just keeps going up and up. But yeah, you can build it cheaper than I have.
So you went as a Pokemon character for SakuraCon.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yep.
And you went in the full wardrobe for them.
Oh yeah.
You even actually dyed your hair for it.
Yeah, that's why my hair's been orange for the last month, was in preparation for this.
Which leads to the inevitable question of who did you go as?
I went as Misty from the original series.
How was
Booty
it?
shorts and all. It was great.
And I'm told that you had to do a bit of shopping before you went.
Yeah, I forgot to pick up snacks and drinks Sunday morning, so I was ready to go in my car and realized I needed to go to the store. And, 10 a.m. Easter morning, and everyone's out, it's like everyone's grandparents shopping for vegetables and stuff. And I'm just strutting my way back to the refrigerator aisle.
Oh, man. Oh, that had to be a blast.
Oh, yeah.
Did you end up capturing any water Pokemon, or did it kind of follow the trend of the series in which you were always interested but never actually got one?
Yeah, I mean, I brought my Lapras with me, but wasn't able to catch any new guys.
I'm a little bit disappointed that you didn't tell me about this beforehand, because I would have happily gone as a Psyduck. And
That
just
would've been
spent the
fantastic.
entire day messing with you. Just like every time you try and get a picture, and I just like walk in front of the picture and be like, nailed it.
Well, I mean, at least your hair is pretty easy to comb.
That's true. I mean, especially as a Psyduck.
It's only got 3 hairs.
Would have been a whole lot of fun. But, is round 3 going?
Yeah, let's have a quick look.
Doesn't look like it's quite going. Round 3 coming up, please.
I've got you a match on the way.
Oh,
All right.
so Coleman, is there any elves out there?
No.
Okay, no elves tonight. Will you play it next Friday for us?
Well, next Friday I'm going to be working, so...
Will you play it the next chance that you have available?
Yes.
I have confirmed elves at the next chance available. Look at me, working for you.
You got Bryce versus Ian.
Oh, which Bryce? Thank you. Okay, so we have got our next match up, and actually this is going to be a pretty sweet match. So you can go ahead and close that door. I've definitely got him.
All right.
So what we are going to be seeing is Tezzerator versus Maverick.
Fun.
Yes, and how do you feel about that one?
I like Tezzerator. In terms of actual match, I don't know, but Tezzerator's just so much fun. So many high-value things going on. But we might see some of the hate from Maverick running away with this match.
Okay, so Maverick, some of the hate cards are going to be really powerful against Tezzerator, things like the Ghazali Pride Mage in the main board,
Right.
things like that. But Tezzerator does have that free win existing in it,
Yep.
and also that Sword of the Meat combo going to be
Oh, yeah.
extremely good against a value deck. That 2
Right.
card's going to be able to outvalue almost the entire deck.
The fact that it's got multiple different win cons, they're so different from each other, it can be really hard.
Abrupt Decay.
Very true.
That's gonna. So let's go ahead and give the edge to Maverick. We'll head on down to that match, and Joe will give us a quick rundown on Maverick. We'll see you down there. All right, so he's gonna give. Seriously,
You guys are too fast for
it's
us.
like we go over almost immediately, and they're just. I'm so used to all the modern players taking longer to shuffle, I think, is what... So, a Mother of Runes from Ian, followed up by a Thopter Foundry from Bryce on turn 1.
Yep.
So, what we can see from this Maverick is basically a
You have
pretty...
the wrong Bryce up there, good sir.
Oh, whoops, it auto-filled it. My mistake there.
And looks like the chat has the Maverick description pretty well taken care of. I like the death and taxes, more death, less taxes. Yeah. It's got a lot of similar cards, but this is, they're going to be the Dark Maverick with the Black Splash for, a bit more variety with the Abrupt Decays, and the Hymn to Turoks that can do a ton of damage, especially when Tezzerator's playing like a combo deck.
Yeah. So this Tezzerator deck able to get out the Thopter Foundry, and actually a Wasteland going for the Underground Sea. Not a whole lot, and an Abrupt Decay going for the Thopter Foundry.
Right.
We actually end up sacrificing the Thopter Foundry in response to get
I like
one.
it.
But all things, that's not a great, and Bryce said it. That is unfortunate.
That hurts.
That is very unfortunate. So, gets the Sword of the Meek out, has the Thopter Foundry in the graveyard. Not a whole lot of ways to get it back. An Academy Rune's an option, but outside of that, not a whole lot of ways. But definitely a lot of tools available to Bryce, but I think he's actually now hellbent.
Oof.
At least he doesn't seem to have a hand. So, we have a block on that Mother of Runes.
Brutal.
Ian dropping down another one, taking a nice advantage. Actually, that's pretty much the best thing that you could have drawn into a test. If we see something like an Ancient Tomb next turn, Bryce is going to be in a pretty nice position.
Yeah. Much better than he could have been, yeah.
Exactly. So.
Looking at a Swords and another Hymn. Oh, takes care of Bryce's hand.
So, Sword of the Meek taking, basically the Tezzeret getting hit by the Hymn to Turok, and the Sword's taking down those Baleful Strix. Bryce pretty much, and actually gets another Mox Diamond, which is not going to be able to do much as it currently sits, so just a Sword of the Meek right now.
So if that was a Swords on that, okay, they got it.
Yep. So, pretty unfortunate position. Maverick likely going to be taking this game one. If I wasn't convinced that the advantage is in Maverick's position, I am now.
Yeah.
Okay. Also, thank you to all the people who are brand new and have hit that follow button. We genuinely appreciate it. It's definitely a smaller stream because of the pre-release, but looks like we are still getting a couple of new people. Yeah. We do really appreciate that you're joining us, and we hope to see you more.
Yeah, and Legacy is usually not quite as big for this store as the modern events are, so it's great to see all you guys coming out and supporting this format.
Exactly, and actually we have had, almost because of this stream, we've actually had an increased interest in Legacy in the store as well. I think once we actually got up to 5 rounds, and beyond that, we've had a pretty consistent 12 to 15 kind of showing up. So, this might actually be Dark Maverick. Let's go ahead and label it as such.
Yeah, I'm not actually sure if he's playing the Dark Confidants, but yeah, there's definitely a very heavy black presence in this Maverick deck.
Yeah, we can definitely label it as Dark Maverick, because I think that is going to be a much more accurate description of the deck. Okay, so a Sigarda, Host of Herons, coming down, and this is just becoming a pretty nice favorite situation for Ian, especially with the Sigarda and this Mother of Runes. So we have got a Dak Faden coming out.
That's something.
Likely going to be plussing. Unfortunately, it gets 1+ before it is going to end up dying to... and we have the City of Traders, a Tezzeret, and ends up keeping the Thopter Foundry. Because if Ian kills this Dak Faden, which likely is, this is going to be... this Thopter Foundry combo might end up being pretty sweet.
Yeah, for now, and a Soul Land to help back it up. This is wonderful for Bryce until it gets Abrupt Decayed.
Yes. But right now, I don't think that Ian has the Abrupt Decay.
That's what Bryce wants to see.
So.
Alright, so at the very least, he's going to be gaining 1 life off of this next turn, gaining a few chump blockers.
Yep. So we've got a pretty sizable swing. 4 lands in the graveyard, and it looks like we are going to be taking it down, and actually, I think, making 2 Thopters. By the look of it.
I do believe these are colorless Thopters, too.
Yep, so ends up taking 2 damage, gaining 2 life. And actually, Thopter Foundry might make blue Thopters. Let's take a look.
I can never remember with that.
They are blue.
Oof. Yes. That is unfortunate. And so actually, Mother of Runes is still going to be able to work with those.
And I'm not sure that Ian is aware of that. That is going to be interesting.
Yeah.
So... what have we got here? Going into a Dimir Signet. Again, just exciting.
More mana. More things for that Thopter Foundry.
Yeah, going to be able to make another 3 Thopters, and eventually just...
another 4. That was
I'm
his soul
sorry.
land he's got untapped.
I was thinking, at least gaining the life, but he can create more Thopters.
Yep,
and
so
definitely
4
gain some life.
Thopters and 2 life gain. Not a bad place to be.
So right now, he's actually almost to a point to where he can negate some of the life loss from these swings as well.
Mm-hmm.
But a pretty sizable swing. And I don't think that he's aware of the Mother of Runes. It's something that we might have to mention to him afterwards. And I don't particularly blame him. Again, I do think that Ian might be a little bit new to the Legacy scene.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that it's that unusual for her. You see Thopters, you assume that they're colorless.
Oh, and it looks like we're seeing a Knight. I'm guessing he's going for Bog to try and get... Yep. And let's see if Bryce can actually... Yeah, there we go. Playing around it, making another one in response. Attaboy.
It's going to get rid of what's in the graveyard currently, which... irritating, but not the end of the world.
Right. He kept his combo in play, and that's really what he needs.
To get game time, those are actually the blue Thopter tokens. Those ones actually are the blue ones from the Thopter Foundry card, which we got. So, those, yeah. So...
I'm surprised you have the ones from the card. Those are a little tricky to find sometimes.
Thank you.
I just use the big, fat Bumblebee ones from Origins because they make me laugh.
I acquired a bunch of them when I started testing Hangerback Walkers in Affinity.
Alright.
Just because they're a cooler token.
Ooh, the big Bumblebee ones, though.
I know,
They're
but the
so
art...
doofy.
The art on this one is just so cool. So, man, Bryce, just because of this, actually becoming favored in this in a situation in which he doesn't actually have that edge.
Mm-hmm.
And the interesting thing is that it's almost, it is unfortunate. It's something that we'll definitely want to mention to him after the game if he isn't aware, or I'm sorry, after the match.
Yeah.
If he isn't aware of it. But it happens. And,
Yep.
We are at a casual REL. I don't blame him.
Yeah.
It's definitely hard. It would take basically doing a full read of that card and also to be looking for it at the time. So, we will see.
Mm-hmm.
So, I can't blame him. We're at a casual REL.
Mm-hmm.
Players are new. This is how they learn.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, you make a mistake like this, and you remember, and it sticks with you.
Exactly. So Deathratch, Shamaness, Agarda, 2 Knight of the Reliquaries, a huge amount of power. Ian has a lot of versatility, especially in what he can get from his deck.
Mm-hmm.
5 lands currently sitting in the graveyard. Sonora the Priest, hello.
Hey.
Thanks for joining us. Again, it is always great to see you.
Yeah.
But Bryce pretty much just got a value engine right now, and interestingly enough, while he's not progressing his board, he's slowly gaining life from this combo, and he's just preventing anything that Ian tries to do.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually Bryce is going to go into something like a Tezzeret, after assembling enough Thopters to actually...
slowly, at this point, as long as he's not casting any new spells, he's able to just, slowly build up a couple more Thopters every turn, and eventually he'll just be able to swing back and kill him.
In the longevity of possibility, that's definitely true. Because, you keep getting one and it ends up becoming almost this pseudo build-your-own Bitter Blossom.
Yep.
To where eventually...
Except
all
you're
those
gaining
ones,
life instead of losing life.
Hey,
hooray!
Sometimes doing it yourself actually has benefits.
Yep.
Generating 5 Thopters here, 3 of which will be going away, so he'll be left with another 3.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Beautiful. Yeah, no, I would... dropping a Tez once you've got a board full of Thopters is always nice.
Right, and if he draws it right now, he'll be able to cast it, and without taking a huge amount of damage, I might delay a little bit longer just to make sure that even through some spot removal, things like that Tezzeret isn't going to take a hit. But plussing right now you're doing a drain for 10 life you're doing a drain for 14 life if you do nothing else.
Yep.
And that's if you don't end up activating any more.
Right. And, getting to generate more Thopters, one more Thopter after casting Tez is always going to be nice, too.
Yeah, and a quick note to Shoggoth. One of the reasons why we do see all of these kind of mid-range and a lot of cool decks like this is because of that proxy rule.
Yeah, you can experiment. When you have to buy your own deck, you see a lot of people just going, well, I want to do well, I want to win, I'm just going to buy whatever's going to be the best.
Yep.
But here, since we allow as many proxies as people want,
you can try things.
Yeah, you get to try. You get to do fun, new things.
Mm-hmm. And also, you just have that opportunity to build the decks that, Legacy Jund, not particularly cheap.
Mm-hmm.
And
we've seen people proxying lands.
Yes.
That's nowhere near a cheap deck.
Exactly. So there's just a lot of options as far as things go
Yeah.
for trying things. So that's one of another big benefit that we have from that is that even before we started this one, our Legacy was a fairly repetitive format. We had a lot of the same decks, many of them of those hyperlinear ones.
Yeah.
So all kinds of things here. 2 mirrored battles. One thing to keep in mind is that he has 2 Mother of Runes, and those Thopter tokens are actually blue. They are not colorless. Thopter Foundry creates blue tokens.
Yep.
So that is the unfortunate thing that is happening with Ian. He might come across it eventually.
Mm-hmm.
All things considered, I do have to. I can't really blame him. You know, it's something that you wouldn't see unless you were already aware of it, or you know, he knows what Thopter Foundry does, so he doesn't need, you know, or at least you assume that you do since you're aware of the combo. So it is an unfortunate situation.
Yep. Or something I've experienced is playing Cavern Harpy. Not really a common card. Some people know what it is because of Alurin, but you know, a lot of the time you see it, and you know, people are, oh, I'm gonna kill your Cavern Harpy. It's like, bounce it to my hand. Good job. It's in my hand.
So 2 Thopters being made off of that Ancient Tomb, which was wastelanded, and now using this Knight of the Reliquary to go for
Scrubland.
Oh, right.
Alright, so here's our key difference. If we look at this Savannah up at the top and our Scrubland down at the bottom on Ian's side,
Okay.
Scrubland has these 2 little dark patches right above the text box in the art, and the horizon is a little bit lower on the Scrubland than the Savannah.
You're
going to have to memorize that and be able to tell in a split second which is which.
absolutely all the time.
It's, those 2.
Was it the same artist for both cards?
I don't know.
Okay.
I do know one of the people who used to play here, but not so much anymore, had picked up a altered Savannah from back in the day that the person had sharpied over everything except the artwork. Oof. That was not nice. He took it to multiple judges and said, hey, this is tournament legal? Would you let me play it? And their response unanimously was, I can tell it's a Scrubland, so yes. And you go, oh, it's a Savannah. No, you can't play that then.
Oh, man. So, we have got the Pride Mage pointing at that one, and we are just going to be activating another 3. Pretty unfortunate situation here. So, generating another few, and that is pretty much the last situation for Bryce.
Yep.
He's been drawing a lot of cards. He does have the ability to get into this Thopter. He has the sword in hand. But
well, I think he has another Thopter Foundry in hand too, doesn't he?
if he does, that has got to be the most...
Yeah, he's just been sitting on another sword and Thopter.
And with a City of Traders coming out to still be able to generate 3.
And I'm going to go let him know about the Ancient Tomb activation on his last turn. He should be at 2 lower life than he is.
No, because he gained 2 life from the Thopter Foundry.
Well, wasn't he at 18?
He was at 20, took 2, gained 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright, never mind that. I saw that go by in the chat, and I wasn't aware of his life total at the time, and if they caught something I missed...
Yeah,
I'd
it's
like to
basically
know.
they mentioned the 18, but it's that he takes the 2 and then regains.
Okay,
Yeah,
I
with the
thought it
activation.
was supposed to be 18, and he missed the taking 2.
No.
Alright.
Yeah.
Well, you guys know what's going on better than I do.
All kinds of things happening,
Mm-hmm.
but certainly a...
I mean,
Trying-
technically, yeah.
trying to attack with that Sword of the Meek. For shame. Still has 3 mana up, has a lot of board. So this is kind of exactly what you're describing, that every time that you end up with a little bit more Thopters each time,
Yep.
they start becoming this just complete arsenal that can get in there effectively. So, what we are going to see, and picks up those cards.
Oh, he's going to be kicking himself in about 20 minutes here once he finds out.
Possibly. But all things considered, again, that's how you learn,
Yep. Oh,
you know? So,
that it is.
I definitely am not going to
I mean,
personally penalize Ian that hard because...
no. I've been in worse places.
Yeah.
Conceding with lethal in play is something that happens.
Okay, so, got some sideboarding happening. Looks like a decent amount of the graveyard hate coming in. So we got some Blood Moons in, and I think actually that was an Academy Runes out of the sideboard, which is pretty interesting.
It could be like a second Academy Runes. I know it seems like it's something that Tezzerator would want to be playing, but talking to different Tezzerator players, at most 1 main board Academy Runes, and it's hesitant. They don't really like it.
And why is that?
I'm not 100% sure. I think it's just because it doesn't do a whole lot. And, oh, one of my Thopter foundries died. I'll go get another one.
Okay. All things considered, Captain, likely won't be happening. We're a positive bunch here. We don't like discouraging other players. And I think that would just be... Honestly, I think that would just be mean.
Yeah.
I think that it, politely telling him after the match and letting it become a learning experience as opposed to things happen.
Yeah. However,
We're a
I will
positive bunch
say,
here.
when I'm playing, if you guys want to shame me on the stream, feel free. But that's just me. Let's, nice learning experiences for the players here.
I mean, why do we even need to verbally shame you when we already see what you're playing? Boom, boom, boom!
Well, last time I played.
Oh, man.
I love going back and watching you guys talking about me on stream. That was...
It is a lot of fun. You've become somewhat of the, what's the term that I want to use here? You've become the Batman. It's not the hero. It's not the hero that they want, but it's just... Actually, no, that's the exact opposite. It's not the hero that they deserve. They deserve everything. But what they want is you.
I love it.
Oh, man. Pugosaurus, do we do this every Friday? Actually, yes. It's not that we stream 3 times a week. The schedule can be found right below us. Pacific time. Wednesdays at 7, Fridays at 7:30, Saturdays at 6. It's an absolute blast.
Yep.
I've been starting to flail my arms a lot more, and I think it's because ever since we cleared out a little bit of room, I have more flailing room.
Yeah.
But definitely still a lot. I'm touching the screen. I'm touching the wall. The door is literally right there.
Yeah.
It's a small closet. Oh, I have to say, we need you back in Modern. There have been massive amounts of requests. Literally every Modern.
I know.
Has been a question.
I've been hearing it a lot myself. It's so bad.
No.
Oh.
We'll even actually be doing an event. I think I remember telling you this, where when we both have a chance, we'll be sitting down and actually writing up a primer to put online for Modern Zombardment.
Oh.
I would love to see people actually start playing this deck.
I mean, apparently people want to, so... Yeah, don't just ask me to play it, because I don't actually get out and play Modern that often. Build it yourself, do it better, and tell me what I can do to fix it.
So, an early Leyline of the Void out for Bryce.
And that's what he wants to see. Let's see if he can get that helm like we saw in the last round we had him on stream.
Yeah, and it actually gets the Tezzeret, Agent of Bolas, has a Mox Diamond, pitching an Underground Sea, following up with a Swamp, and then we are going to see a turn 1 Baleful Strix.
Yeah, nice strong play.
Into an Ancient Tomb, so that means that we're going to see the Tezzeret, Agent of Bolas next turn, possibly going for a plus, maybe digging into that Helm of Obedience. Now, Ian...
I mean, you got some options there, though. He can either go digging, or, and this is going to be a little more risky, banking on Ian not having removal,
make a 5/5
make just a fat Strix and go to town with it.
That might be the best way I've ever heard that described. So, the interesting thing is that Ian's Knight of the Reliquaries have just had taken a massive hit in their value.
Oh, yeah. Knight's not so great anymore. He can still, go for Bog when it becomes necessary, but that's really it. He's going for value, and they're just going to stay Wool Bears.
Now, tell me one thing. I do believe that Green Sun Zenith still shuffles in because it never actually hits your graveyard. Is that correct?
Oh, I'd have to check the wording. If it says if it would, then yes. If it says when, then no. Green Sun will not shuffle, but I believe it is an if.
So there is a Tezzeret with, I believe, Force of Will backup as well.
Oh,
man.
Gorgeous.
This is a pretty solid win as far as hands go. So having a Jace, a Tezzeret, and a Force of Will.
Oh,
that is a
that's
glorious hand for Bryce, especially going for... And I think, did he make that Baleful Strix into a 5? Yep.
Would appear to be. Unfortunately, he's still out of Kozali Pride Mage, so that's an interesting choice.
Uh-huh. Okay, game time answering. It does never go to the graveyard.
All right.
So
there we go.
That is excellent. So we have got the Kozali Pride Mage swinging at the Tezzeret to take it down. He does have the other one in hand.
Oof.
Unfortunately, we didn't see that Force of Will able to take down the Kozali Pride Mage, or at least didn't go for it, even though that might have... And Nathalia, that's actually... Okay, now getting forced, pitching the Jace for it.
Yep, forcing that force while he can, because if you let Nathalia resolve, then...
It becomes a 5-mana spell.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, 1 mana. He can still pay the alternate cost. He's still actually needs the mana up, which he didn't that turn.
Oh, okay. It's
interesting, Ian just letting this Strix keep swinging.
Might be trying to wait until keep it for something as a combo and seeing till the last moment if he can end up drawing into something like a Swords to Plowshares, something like that, so that he can keep the Kazali Pride Mage for something that might be a little bit more critical.
He's holding the second Pride Mage in hand, correct?
I couldn't tell you for certain, actually. I'll have to take a look here. I see a Noble Hierarch, and I think that's a Knight of the Relic.
Okay. Alright, fair enough then.
Yep. Okay. So we have got a Noble Hierarch coming out, which actually leads into the possibility of a swing for... And it looks like, actually, Bryce just going down 2 life.
I believe it was swing, then Hierarch. Unfortunately, it's the same sequencing again.
Yep.
Alright, and here we see him taking down that Strix.
And we have got...
Some sweet. Another Strix. Strix party. Just a Sword of the Meek. Alright.
I mean, you know what he has in hand, though.
I did not... Was it another Foundry?
It is, I believe, a Thopter Foundry. Which leads me to the question of why didn't he use the Ancient Tomb to cast the Sword of the Meek? Oh, I'm sorry, that's a Demir's.
Okay. Alright, fair enough
The
then.
coloring on that looked like just like that.
Yeah. Alright, are you going to see anything particularly interesting out of Ian here?
He does have the Knight of the Reliquary, which is just a 2/2, unfortunately. It does give him a little bit of utility as far as just getting the lands that he needs.
Right.
Might end up going for some Wastelands to try and just keep Bryce off of going for one of those combos.
Or, like we saw last game, he's got the instant speed Bog if Bryce does get his sword combo going.
That's true.
Just dropping a Signet and passing, it looks like. Alright.
So, and yeah, Bryce, not a whole lot of actual power in his hand. He put a lot of eggs into that basket of just swinging.
And that Pride Mage did its work.
Exactly. So I kind of feel like plussing Tezzeret might have been the right option, just to be able to dig into the things that you're really looking for.
Yeah.
Certainly, I can see the reason to just go for an early beatdown gameplay.
Right. But I think in general that's not what you want to be going for. I think he would have been perfectly safe leaving up his Strix and plussing. Because, Ian would have been able to trade with the Strix or sack and trade with the Strix.
Yep.
Not really the best options, leaving Bryce with a comfortable Tezzeret just digging for whatever he needs to win. And especially once he draws a Helm, he's got this game. So holding a Tezzeret and just using him to go digging, that seems really good for Bryce right now.
Yep, and that Eternal Witness from Ian not doing anything except just providing a little bit of pressure. So it's a swing for 4, knocking him down to 8.
Yeah.
We do have actually a Zealous Prosecution in Ian's hand, which is going to be pretty nice. This Baleful Strix, in response to the equip, I'm a little bit surprised that we didn't see him use that Zealous Prosecution in response.
That only equips if it's in the graveyard, is that correct?
You can actually pay the cost to equip it.
But he paid the cost to cast Strix.
I think they're looking at it. I think
I don't. It shouldn't be equipped right now for free. There we go.
Okay. I thought maybe he tried paying for the cost, but
no. I was looking at. He's only got the 2 tapped, so.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Just a bit of a misunderstanding on the sword.
But they got it fixed because I believe Coleman is there just providing some assistance for us. So we do have a Corrosion Grip in Ian's hand as well, and with that Noble Hierarch, he has enough mana to go for both of it. Going for the Zealous Persecution. Now, we're going to see a Wasteland in response, not particularly useful, except for the fact... And actually, I like the idea of going for the Wasteland pre-combat, because that forces him not to swing at the Noble Hierarch, or the Knight of the Reliquary that turn. So there is a swing 4. 4?
Yep.
Interesting.
And here we see that Corrosion Grip coming in. Not the best target, just because as soon as Bryce plays pretty much any of the creatures in his deck, he's getting that sword right back. If he drops a Strix, free sword, and then it will come in equipped.
Yeah, and right now Bryce's 2 fetch lands pretty much useless, can only use 1 of them. I think that this game 2 is going to be going to Ian, and we'll be heading into a game 3.
Yeah, and honestly, I mean, Ian's in a great place. I think the correct play here would have been to grip the
Signet?
the
Mox Diamond.
I would say the Leyline, because Bryce is still at a point where he has the mana he needs to drop his Helm and get there.
And actually, an interesting thing here would be if he had actually gone for the Corrosion Grip in response, his Knight of the Reliquary would have been one larger, and Bryce wouldn't have been able to fetch at all. Because if he takes down that Leyline of the Void before the Wasteland resolves, yeah, so he would have had a Bayou in there and actually would have dealt way more damage.
Yep.
So that's an interesting point that you make there. Okay. Excuse me.
Alright, so surprisingly, based on that early game, we are going to go to game 3 here.
Yeah, and with Tezzerator on the play, using some of those powerful things, we could end up seeing an extremely good Chalice of the Void on 1. In the early turns, those Soul Lands are going to provide a lot of value. Okay, hello to the... I can't believe that we're plus 70 people on a night that is basically pre-release.
Yeah.
Thank you to all the people, especially if you are in a time zone in which your midnight pre-release is happening. Thank you for joining.
Yeah.
All the people representing the West Coast, thank you for showing up. You guys are putting up a great showing. If you are brand new, thank you for joining us. Any comments, questions, feedback are always welcome. We're happy to interact with you. We'd love to welcome you by name if you just let us know that you're on the news side.
Yeah.
And if you want to hit that follow button, we certainly appreciate that. Definitely, we are shooting one day to have a fun stream of 500 people watching. We've got a bunch of things that happen when we get there. We've got 4 fun things that are going to happen when we get to that point. So, another thing that Silly Question is noting is that Bryce actually does have Blood Moon in his sideboard. I'm going to sneeze.
Excuse me.
Woo!
So, fun thing, Bryce was telling me beforehand, the Blood Moons are not actually what he wants to have in his sideboard. He has a bit of a more interesting card in mind. And he just didn't get around to proxying it.
And what is it?
The Abyss.
Funnily enough, he doesn't have to proxy it. Dylan recently picked one up.
He wants to, though, but that is interesting. For the low price of whatever ridiculous amount the Abyss is going for, he'd be a real one.
So, always, it's a bargain at
That is interesting.
half the price.
Most
Most things are, but hey.
The old legend.
So, always. Bryce on the play. And see what kind of accelerated most things are. Start off with here. So Bryce, man, the Abyss is absurdly sweet.
Oh yeah.
See what kind of accelerated. Interesting. Comes in against actually a lot of similar decks, but also slightly different ones. The Abyss is absurdly sweet.
Oh yeah.
What? Let's see here. Why are we hearing the table? I'm not sure. There is something making a slight rattling sound.
Yeah.
Alright. Hopefully, are things fixed now? Let us know. Alright, but I think we did get a slight audio thing here. It should be better now. So let us know. Hopefully it has fixed itself, but we apologize for that. We did not realize.
Yep.
Okay.
Ooh,
so
and there's that turn 1 Chalice from one out of Bryce.
with double Force of Will?
Yeah. Not the most effective against Maverick specifically, but it definitely does get some value. Alright, Ian making the most of the situation, leading with a Dryad Arbor, Summoning Sickness, and he can't cast his 1-drops anyways. And we're looking at an Abrupt Decay in hand, which will very tidily, or not, take care of that Chalice of the Void.
Could be that he just doesn't actually feel the need to go for it with not a whole lot of 1-drops in hand. Wants to save it for possibly something a bit more high value. Like
for sure.
You'd hate to take down the Chalice just to have Bryce then drop down a Thopter Foundry. Something like that. Okay, so what have we got now going for the Abrupt Decay on there with that Wasteland and Bryce back down to a pretty significant disadvantage. Has that Blood Moon in hand as well as multiple counter spells.
I believe it's 3 forces now, at least 2, and a Transmute Artifact.
So actually, if Ian ends up going for a non-basic here to cast something, Bryce, if he ends up drawing into any kind of land that can tap from any color, so I'm not sure if he runs Glimmer Void. I doubt it.
I don't believe so.
But if he ends up getting anything like a Mox Diamond would be brilliant. Anything like that, he has the ability to get this Blood Moon online.
Well, Mox Diamond would require another land in hand.
That's true. 8 Farms, welcome back. It's been a while since we've seen you, I think, so it's good to have you back. To Jay Winner, mentioning what forces are those?
Yeah.
They're the Judge promo one.
Yep.
To anybody who is unaware, we do allow any number of proxies at our store.
Yep.
They have to be good, and basically if you win any credit, you have to use it on the cards that you're proxying. We do it to make it a much more attainable format.
Yeah. Yeah, so these are proxies with Judge promo and online art for Force of Wills. And you'll see a lot of proxies, especially dual lands, that don't look exactly like their real counterparts, and that's just something we're doing to increase our legacy population.
Absolutely. But we don't sanction our legacy events for those
Yep.
of the people who are going to immediately question that if you haven't heard our rule before.
Yeah, so these are unsanctioned with playtest cards allowed.
So a swing for 2, taking out that Kazali Pride Mage,
Yep. So just a swing for 1 now off that Dried Arbor.
is going to put him down to 14, however.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, congratulations, A Farms, on joining the Navy. That's awesome. I hope you have a great time. Okay. So Wasteland out. Bryce has that ability to take down one of these cards, but I think he might just be trying to go for Living the Dream.
Mm-hmm.
Because if he can actually resolve this Blood Moon, Ian is completely out
Oh, yeah.
of the game. So,
Mm-hmm.
what have we got? Ian down to 18 after a couple of fetches. Generic brand energy drink joining us today. You okay with the playtest cards? So are we. We definitely checked with our pretty much as much of the legacy population as we could before putting the rule in, because it does take away the sanctioning. And the resounding response that we got is, we just want to play legacy.
Yeah, I mean, if what it takes is allowing proxies, then by all means. We just want more people in the store.
Exactly.
And since then, we've been regularly getting 4 rounds.
2 Gibbows. We post deck lists. We have some of them on our Tapped Out account. Any requests that you have, I can certainly do my best to get them. I have a backlog of several deck lists that I'll be doing this weekend, of about 15 that I'll be adding on there. But if you do request any, I can keep it in mind. I can try and get it from that player and then get it up on my Tapped Out. Anytime that I do post one, I put a link to it on my Twitter as well. So if you want to follow that, that's a decent way to find out when I'm posting those deck lists as well. Okay, so
Yeah, and it's
now a quick note to the Morningstar about talking about the level to which Ian is playing around Blood Moon. One thing to note is that he is up against a blue-black deck, and this is a player who is coming largely from Modern.
Yeah. Yeah, so far he hasn't really seen much reason to fear Blood Moon. We haven't seen Bryce playing his Dak Faden and whatnot this round. There's nothing really to suggest he needs to play around Blood Moon. But he's going to be finding out pretty quickly here, as I'm fairly confident Bryce does have a Volcanic he can go for.
Yep.
Ooh, Surgical out of Ian, trying to pick his best target here.
And what do we end up going for?
Unfortunately, he's going to get a nice look at Bryce's hand at this time.
Yep.
And see that Blood Moon.
Okay, so taking a look and going to be searching through Ian, and now he's actually going to get to see it.
Mm-hmm.
So, revealing the Blood Moon and the Leyline. Looking at the Underground Sea, and I think...
Oh, they're just talking about whether it's a proxy or not.
Yeah, I think that one was a particularly good one.
It's actually printed on the card to look real, but
Is
very obviously not.
wonderful.
Yep.
Okay. Has to be the most misplayed card in history. I think anything to where you're going for all those, like, Cabal Therapy, Surgical Extraction, even Thoughtseize, Inquisition, all of those are very easy to misplay.
Personally, I think Brainstorm is one of the most frequently misplayed cards.
Okay.
Just, timing, when you brainstorm, why you're casting it. A lot of the time you see people not playing optimally. But, yeah, Surgical and Cabal Therapy can certainly also be very frustrating.
Okay, so,
Going for the Leyline now, as opposed to the Blood Moon.
to Twyl, TWYHL. Not much up with that. Underground Sea may have just been asking, because we do a lot of those proxies, may have just been asking about the proxy and how he did it or where he got it.
Yeah, it's I was actually looking at that one before the event. It's printed on a card, supposed to look like a real card at a glance, but on closer inspection you can see it's kind of grainy and the print isn't very crisp, it's a bit fuzzy. So that's probably just what they were talking about.
Okay, so the Leyline of the Void coming out. Now that only affects cards that come in after it's
Correct.
in play.
So the graveyard is already full, nothing's going away yet.
Yep, and Bryce with that Blood Moon in hand that he can't cast yet. And here we're starting to see Ian start to go for those cards that are basic lands.
Yep.
So,
And now that he's seen the Blood Moon, which I think it might have been worth Bryce dropping the Blood Moon while he still had the chance to get Ian.
Okay.
Because, instead of playing the ley line last turn, he could have gone for the Blood Moon. He's now given Ian a chance to go get a basic land. And he's, one extra swing off of that Dry Harbor. Oh,
or,
and that hurts.
Or that. 2 Guibaos, something like that. But I can definitely try and get that deck list from him. Ian's been really good about getting me deck lists in the past when I request them, so I can certainly try to do that for you. And that's something that I can put onto the tapped out account as soon as possible. 8 Farms, will we ever do a proxy vintage event? It is on our to-do list. As far as an actual timeline, I can't give you one, but we are interested in doing one day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's
not convinced it'll become a regular
at least a few
thing.
people who have expressed interest in it in the store, but we'll see, and definitely let you guys know if that's coming up.
And draws a Force of Will with only 4 mana up.
4 mana and an empty hand. That is rough.
Yep, so basically a dead card as it currently sits.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Ian is just going to end up taking this game 3.
It looks like it. I'm just going to be able to value Bryce out of the game. Got
Ooh,
too much presence.
actually,
That's
and
something.
Snaring Bridge coming out.
But with that Pride Mage already in play, that's rough.
All right. So let's go ahead and add what that is for that. Boom! Look at that. All right. Well, 8 Farms, I will totally let you know as soon as we are doing one. We'll be announcing it on the stream as well. So the Thopter Foundry coming out, but with that Kozali Pride Mage out, doesn't have a ton of value.
Well, it is at the very least helping Bryce keep his Ensnaring Bridge.
Right.
Which will then reduce Ian to swinging with 1/1s.
At least forces him to choose.
And Dice Hoarder, Bryce played out the Leyline of the Void instead of the Blood Moon, and Ian was then able to take his Blood Moon with a Hymn to Turok. Very unfortunate.
So, we do see, looks like, actually sacking the bridge to the Thopter Foundry.
Alright. An interesting choice.
When you had it's able to trade with that Dryad Arbor?
It's not, though, with the Exalted Trigger. He's just chump blocking.
Oh, you're correct. I'm sorry. But I think the biggest thing is that bridge was only preventing the Kozali Pride Mage from attacking.
That's true.
All things considered, not a huge amount of leeway.
Mm-hmm.
And...
well, if he ever gets a chance to empty his hand, it would have been doing a bit more, but not what he wants.
Yeah, and we might actually see this take down the Thopter Foundry now before he can get more use out of it, especially because he can't activate that Signet. So Bryce now in a very unfortunate situation. Still a 3-turn clock from Ian, which isn't fast. It's significantly less now. Doesn't get any better than that. All right.
Okay.
So ends up playing out another land. That is an Underground Sea.
Yep.
And, at least next turn he'll be able to cast it. But right now, that Mother Rim's basically, it's a 6-turn clock if he wants to continually make his Dryad Arbor protection from blue or black.
Mm-hmm.
So, the Pithing Needle on the Tezzeret, so you definitely don't want... Bryce doesn't want to draw that, even though that's normally what his biggest priority would be right now.
Oh yeah, Tezzeret, usually such a house, but that Needle just giving him trouble.
The Jace Mind Sculptor in that deck might be a really big one that he wants to draw.
Yep.
That ability to Brainstorm is going to be pretty nice.
Oh
and
yeah,
also,
just the steady free Brainstorms are so great for filtering through your deck.
Yes, but all things considered, Ian at a huge advantage right now.
Oh, for sure.
Even just by having, has card advantage, mana advantage, board advantage, at least the Baleful Strix.
Advantage.
Yeah, the Baleful Strix definitely evening up the board somewhat.
Yep.
But that Mother of Runes is just huge. And that's a Fracturing
Gust. Painful.
That is 5. He's going to be going up to 28.
Oh, jeez, yeah.
My goodness.
28, one-sided board wipe. Was not expecting that, but
took down his own Pithing Needle.
Doing work. It is, but at this point, that Tezzeret isn't doing a lot anyways.
No, so that was incredible.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're back to that clock. I have a hard time imagining Ian losing this game.
Yeah. And a minor point, probably just let him know after the fact. I believe that Fracturing Gust should be in the yard, not exiled. just the same as Abrupt Decaying
Rest in
a
peace.
Rest in Peace, where the Rest in Peace sees itself go, but the spell isn't in the yard until complete resolution, at which point the ley line's already gone.
So Coleman, I know you're listening.
Let him know.
Goes for the Abrupt Decay, so at least he's not going for the Factual
Yeah.
Gust, which is where we would have had to step in, but this game already essentially over anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And untap with that Scavenging Ooze, and
Oh, another Abrupt Decay.
glorious.
And I think we're just going to see the swing for lethal here.
Yep.
Well, it was a good run all around, but...
And I think I'm just going to activate his own Ancient
Tombing
Tomb.
himself.
Love it.
Respectable.
I mean, it becomes a flavorful name at that point.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's head back up to the booth.
All right.
I think we might be able to get something else.
Yeah, I can go have a quick look.
All right, let's see if we can get another game for you. Hello, and thanks for joining. Ian, pretty good natured about it. He said, man, during that whole game, all I could think was, I wish that had colors. But he's being pretty good natured about it, having a laugh with them out there. So, definitely a learning opportunity here, and I have to think that even now that he was able to win that match, certainly makes it a much more palatable situation for getting that. So, it's in the middle of round 3 of 4. It's a great night. I think we've got about 12 players in there. Legacy, having a blast with it. We're going to try and get another match up. If you are new to our stream, thank you for joining. It's a lot of fun having you. If you've been to our stream before, thank you for joining. It's a lot of fun having you. We do this stream 3 times a week. Wednesdays at 7, Fridays at 7:30, Saturdays at 6. Legacy on Fridays and Modern on Wednesdays and Saturdays. It is an absolute blast. I mean, yeah, we've been doing it for about 6 months, always looking to improve and trying to consistently kind of build up that following, because when we get to 500 people, fun things happen. In one single viewing, if we have 500 people viewing at the same time, 1, we do have a revised starter deck, which we'll be opening up on the stream. 2, I will be eating a Tibbleton, some delicious Alfredo sauce, likely in a dinosaur costume. I've already actually, my friend Jenny has volunteered to make the Alfredo, which is wonderful because she's a
We're
great
talking
cook.
about the Alfredo.
Yep.
Alright, so looks like we're actually moving to round 4 here.
Ooh.
That was the final match for game 3, or for round 3, and we're just going to go ahead and have the undefeateds duking it out for the final match here.
And what is that?
That is going to be Eric Donaldson on Reanimator
Which side?
against the wall,
Okay.
and our same Ian on Maverick as his opponent.
Ooh, so Maverick versus Reanimator. That's
And,
a pretty interesting match.
And Maverick knows what he needs to know.
And what do you mean by... Oh, yeah.
I believe slowly crashing nicely sums it up there in the chat.
And I do have to say, he sounded really good-natured about it
Yeah.
from here. So I think that winning the match definitely made it a much more tolerable lesson.
I'm sure there would have been a lot more salt if that match did not end in his favor.
So, thanks for joining. We're getting ready for the final round. We're going to watch the finals match. Might be able to get some more. And then we might stick around a little bit at the end just to do some Q&A, have some fun, play some games of 6 words, which if you're brand new is a lot of fun. Quick summary of the other 2 things when we get to 500. Coleman, one of the co-hosts, is going to do a complete dance to an 80s cardio song, put it online. Joe, going to draw all over a playmat and send it to someone. The only direction that he's going to have as to what he draws is that certain someone is going to have 6 words in theme with our fun game as to what the theme of the playmat is.
And that's not for 500 people, that's 250 on a specifically legacy event. So tell all your friends, come hang out on Fridays.
Exactly. It's going to have a lot of fun. Finals round. Let's go. Okay, so both players getting ready. We are on time this time, getting a lot more used to the quickness of these legacy players and getting ready. So, Reanimator, I have to think is favored.
I believe so, yeah. I mean, I know Death and Taxes is Reanimator's worst nightmare, and Maverick can play pretty similarly, but I think, it actually being Maverick, and like someone was saying before, more death, less taxes, that's what Reanimator wants to be staring across at.
Now, is Caracas in this Dark Maverick deck?
I believe so, yeah.
But maybe
Alright.
just a one of. But if he gets the one of, he
I
gets
think
the
we
one.
actually, was it watching Dark Maverick earlier that we saw the Caracas come down, or was that someone else we saw?
That's a great question.
Stream, if you remember.
Okay. MMDW, let's be nice. Oh, man. Now I'm going to assume that Karsten there is the Frank Karsten and still otherwise told, but actually, just a quick note. Karsten, I don't think that we've actually seen you in the chat before. I'm remembering maybe once a long time ago, or at least a decent amount of time ago. Thank you for joining us if it's the first time. Thanks for joining us again if it's another time.
Mm-hmm.
It's great having you. So thanks for making the trip to your computer via the internet waves, the information superhighway.
Yeah.
So I buy you from Ian, and he is going to be going for
Dryad Arbor.
the Dryad Arbor, living the dream.
Yep. I don't know, man. I think the dream is vialing it in.
Mm-hmm. So we have got a Polluted Delta from Eric, and I do see a Tidespout Tyrant. There's several lands in that, so doesn't look like a particularly fast hand. We do have a Daze. We have a Reanimated. Oh, never mind.
Ooh,
That
Entomb and Exhume, I believe that is, not Reanimate.
Has a
But
Entomb,
still.
an Exhume,
Mhm.
and the Counter Magic.
Alright, so this might be a pretty fast game one here. We'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, Reanimator's hand looking sublime is the
Mhm.
word that I want to use. I mean, the best case scenario, we might almost see, a Scavenging Ooze right now would be a best case scenario for Ian.
Yeah, that's... yeah, I think that's
And
what
even
he
that-
needs, but
Dazing it isn't going to work. We might see if that is
dazing it is going to work, because that keeps him off of his 1 mana he would need to eat the target.
true, but it
because-
does keep him from casting the Exhume.
Oh, that's true.
So actually, this
Going
is going to
for
be an interesting
Thalia.
one. We might see the Entomb here, and then it kind of depends on if Eric feels like being patient.
Mm-hmm.
So we are going to see the...
I believe Eric has 2 more land in hand, so he might be able to just play through.
Yeah,
Plus,
and,
if he draws a Reanimator, or Reanimate, doesn't matter.
yeah, and the big thing is just how much he wants to take the risk of Ian getting into some graveyard hate before he assembles that mana.
For sure. If Ian's holding a Deathrite Shaman in his hand and Eric wants to be patient, that might come back to bite him.
Exactly. Now, we'll likely also be seeing a swing for 1 from Ian towards Eric. So I think we're going to end this turn with Ian at 19 and Eric at 18.
Yeah.
So we have the Entomb and going for the Grave Titan, and I like that a lot because 1, it doesn't get hit by the Crocus,
Right.
and 2, it just completely floods the board with value.
Right. Even if it gets swords, it left something behind.
Yeah, and those 2/2s are going to trade with a decent amount of Dark Maverick.
Oh, yeah. Not the Thalia, unfortunately, but...
Hits the Dryad Arbor.
Yep.
It's pretty much, that a lot of what we've been seeing Ian do on the ground
Mm-hmm.
is in increments of 2 power.
Yep.
And the Elish Norn off the top, not really what you want to see.
Yeah, not where you want it, but
And
not the
actually,
worst
that's a
turn.
careful study. So actually, the careful study is going to be
Mm-hmm.
amazing for
Yep.
dumping those cards. And now even a Scavenging Ooze doesn't become really relevant.
He's
I
got
do
2
like this
more amazing cards to drop. He's got the Tidespout and the Elish Norn.
And-
Ian really needs to get rid of Eric's graveyard fast if he wants to be able to stand a chance.
Pretty much looking to drop the Bajuka Bog.
Yeah, if he can't bog this turn, I think we can easily see Eric running away with this game.
So there's the basic forest, and we have a Green Sun Zenith, so he can technically get the Scavenging Ooze and maybe exile 1 creature. But and that's a great play if it wasn't for the Exhume.
Yeah,
in Eric's hand.
specifically Exhume being non-targeted.
Uh-huh. So, and because every other reanimate effect does have that ability, and we are seeing it for
3.
2.
Oh, for 2. Oh, because of the Thalia.
So,
Excuse me.
and I think he's going to be going for that Scavenging Ooze.
Yeah, I would assume so. Just hoping Eric doesn't quite have it in hand yet. Unfortunately, this is really going to be too little too late.
Yes, because next turn we're going to see Eric drop down a land.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really expecting this Elish Norn because it's going to completely wipe that board.
Oh, yeah. Elish Norn on this board is going to be fantastic.
Taking
And it's
down-
really going to just devastate almost anything Ian tries to do, short of making a measly little Knight of the Reliquary.
Thalia. Eric,
Oh.
Thalia.
He just got it. Yeah, his opponent was correcting him.
Okay.
Alright. And yep, there's that Elish Norn.
I just wanted to make sure that it becomes clarified because he did draw that Brainstorm.
Yep.
And I would hate to see him draw that, play that
Mhm.
Brainstorm afterwards and see a bunch of extra cards.
Yep.
So, Elish Norn coming in, wiping the Dryad Arbor, wiping the Scavenging Ooze, wiping the Thalia.
Oh yeah, getting the Dryad Arbor Oh, man.
And, I mean, a huge setback for Ian.
Mm-hmm.
It's not even the animate dead, which he's able to hit with the abrupt decay.
Right. It's not the reanimator that he could, in theory, respond to the target.
Too little, too late, the
I mean, that-
Bazooka Bog.
Bog is nice, but yeah, he's already got his Elishnorn in play. Ian needs to do something about that fast.
Yes, and without any of that removal in hand, it is going to be problematic.
Mm-hmm.
None of those creatures can, Ian could
He can
drop
play
this
the
knight.
knight
It's a
as
2/2.
a 2/2. Not the most threatening, but it buys him a turn.
Hey, and
Get
getting
it dazed. That's just insulting.
nice.
Oof.
Got it. And actually,
Another-
Jaws the other days has a careful study. I might almost expect Eric to go for this careful study just to get rid of the days, maybe get into some kind of force of will protection.
It's possible.
Because, like they were mentioning, swords to plowshares is actually a problem.
Yeah. Although I do like this brainstorm right now a little more. Just
Ooh.
careful study as a digging tool isn't my favorite.
Right, and I had forgotten about the brainstorm when I said that.
Right. I mean. Yeah.
So, likely going to be getting rid of the days, especially now that he has the force of will back up.
Mhm.
And actually, I think he has 2 days.
Yeah, it was looking like double days, Thoughtseize, Force, Land, and careful study.
But no fetch lands currently. So he
Back
is
in careful study. Interesting.
He is locked in what he has.
Well, he does have fetch in play already.
Oh, I'm sorry, he does have the Verdant Catacombs.
And
So, an Abrupt Decay and a Mother of Runes.
I mean,
I mean,
take your pick. Neither matters
probably
at
the
this
Mother
point.
of Runes at this point.
I would think so, since the abrupt decay is generally less value.
Okay.
All right.
I mean, either way.
Yeah, that Mother of Runes isn't going to be doing anything anytime soon.
At least the Abrupt
fetch.
Decay hits something, whereas
Yeah.
that Mother of Runes can't even hit the board. So that's a
Right.
reasonable point. Okay, so 15 to 13, Eric, behind on the scoreboard, but way ahead in every conceivable way.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, I don't know. I think I do like actually taking that Mother of Runes a little bit more because the abrupt decay stops Donaldson from doing a win more by animate deading another creature, whereas the Mother of Runes is Ian banking on him removing the Elishnorn and building his own board state.
okay.
So I think I would have liked taking that Mother of Runes a little more, but
So we have an Animate Dead, but no
they are
creatures.
a reanimate, I believe that is.
Oh, I'm sorry. A Reanimate. So, misspoke. We have a Reanimate. So, Swords to Plowshares, a major concern. But down the line, Eric has got more tools for it.
Mm-hmm.
So, now he is just,
Oh, we can reanimate one of Ian's dudes.
a Knight of the Reliquary.
Oh,
Please
that's an
tell me
option.
you go for the... Actually, I'd take the Mother. Oh, no,
Go for
there's
the
no
Dryad
reference.
Arbor. It pays no life.
I would almost... It's too bad that there's not a Mother of Runes in there currently,
Mhm.
because that Thoughtseize on the Mother of Runes, if he could have done that and protected his Elishnorn,
Yeah, that would have been great.
so
But-
I think more and more I'm starting to like
Mhm.
the Mother of Runes. Now, granted, that's a little bit of a long-term
It's
plan
a
of
bit contrived.
let's take the Mother of Runes in case I get the Reanimate.
Right.
Maybe a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
maybe a little bit excessive,
Yeah.
but still would have ended up with an extremely solid board. Ian
And
picking
Ian
up the
just-
cards.
Yep. In
He's-
all mild, not sarcasticness, though, I kind of do like him taking the reanimating his opponent's Dryad Arbor because he's paying no life for it. Not a huge point right now in the game, but it is making subsequent knights just a teeny bit smaller, and I think that's kind of silly.
I think actually Eric was really prioritizing making sure that those Knight of the Reliquaries don't hit the battlefield,
Mhm.
and a huge part of that is because the reason why we saw him go for the Grave Titan first,
Yeah.
one of the first things that we mentioned is that Caracas is a brutal card,
Oh yeah.
and so what we really didn't want to see is a Knight of the Reliquary resolve,
Mhm.
go for that Caracas, and just ruin basically what Eric put his entire hand into.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, a reanimate plan, unless it's, Crystal Brand, is generally going to take a lot of your resources, probably all of them, if you have all your counter magic backup, and having it ruined by a knight getting Caracas, that's not going to be a good time for anyone.
Hello to Tears and Sunfishy. It is great to have both of you. Not names that I'm too accustomed to seeing. I think you guys might be new, but if you are not, my apologies. But welcome. It's great having you. Hopefully hit that follow button. Any questions, comments, feedback, always feel free to let us know. To anybody who is just joining, my name is TJ,
My name's Joe.
and we are student from Geek Fortress in Snohomish, Washington. We do this 3 times a week.
Yep. Well, you do this 3 times a
I
week.
do this 3 times a week. Joe joins me for many Fridays
Mhm.
because he is my on-hand legacy aficionado.
Something like that.
Yeah. And it's a lot of fun working with you.
Yeah, it's good to be here.
A big variety of co-hosts, and eventually down the line, I might end up putting a little bit more of the responsibility on some of these co-hosts, because I will be going to some GPs down the line. Also, possibly next Friday, my sister will be in town, so might be trying to hang out there. Sunfishy, my apologies. I didn't recognize the name. That's my bad.
Yeah.
That is my bad, and I apologize. Maybe a bit aggressive, but I understand. Oh, see now.
Come on, man. You know what day it is.
I know. I was about to make that comment. I got fooled.
Well played.
I got
like
fooled.
it. He definitely committed.
Definitely committed. And the problem is that I come from jobs that are nothing but customer service to the public, so it's like they're upset. I must.
Right.
I have to make it better. Oh God.
Fantastic.
Hold on. I gotta hold on. I gotta do this. Let's see here. Is it just a boom? There we go. You earned it. You earned that. Man, that was brutal.
That was good.
To Romario Vital. Ooh, I'm pretty sure we've had you before. I'm not 100% sure. But thank you for joining. If it is your first time, and if you are someone just coming back and we haven't heard from you in a bit, it's great having you back. So it's really cool. We seem to be getting a few people. I do want to encourage you to hit that follow button. It does mean a lot to us when you hit it. It sends an email to the store owner saying, "Hey, look at these guys. They're still doing something that people enjoy. So let them continue to make your supply closet not a supply closet, because this is the booth, as we'll keep referring to it. It's a lot of fun doing this, so any kind of support that you guys can give us is always nice. And eventually we'd like to get to a point where we can actually make some money from like Twitch and a Twitch partnership down the line, because currently we started with a budget of 0 and it has not gone up since.
Yeah.
So a quick self-plug, hate to do it, but there is a donate button at the bottom if you would like to support. Anything helps, but we certainly don't expect it. And eventually down the line, we are hoping to get to kind of a point where it can sustain itself much easier. Sunfishing, great. We do this every single Friday at 7:30.
Yep.
With the occasional, sometimes I think we actually pretty much have. It doesn't really change that much. It's like the Saturday Modern will occasionally get hit, but yeah, Friday Legacy is pretty much always here.
Yep.
Just I might end up having to get some more co-hosts trained up when I start going to these GPs a lot more often. Which, looking at you, Joe. Looking at you. Though, what?
I think you can trust the stream with me.
No, I definitely need to get someone who talks more. I watched the stream the one time that I left you alone.
Oh,
and the one
nothing
thing that
was said.
The one thing that you said in like a 5-minute period of time was, "Just gonna change that." I still updated the life totals.
My bad.
Oh, man.
Well, I think I'm getting better, but...
Sunfishy, it is awesome you're moving to Renton. Come in and say hi.
Great.
We'd love to meet you at Legacy every single Friday at 7:30. We'd love to see you. Get in touch with me. If you want to get in touch with me on Twitter, I can definitely give you all the details and information that you need. I'd love to talk to you. Love to meet you. It's super cool. That's awesome that you're moving into a close area.
Yeah, and that's actually right by where I live.
This guy.
Yeah.
Carpool.
So, yeah. It's not a fun drive to come up here on Friday nights, but it's totally worth it.
Which means that you can carpool.
Yeah.
Love it. Heading into Game 2, Ian on the play with this Dark Maverick. Really, I mean, the interesting thing is that you want to say he wants hand disruption, but depending on what Eric has in hand, he wants to go. He wants to hit Careful Studies, he wants to hit Entombs, and he wants to hit Reanimate Effects if there are not any of those.
Yep.
But when he's got maybe just a bunch of utility,
Yeah.
hand disruption, sometimes not that effective against. I mean, in an earlier match, we saw him cast Thoughtseize on himself. Granted, he gets to pick in that particular situation.
Right.
But it helps.
Yeah.
So, we have got a Mother of Runes coming out for Ian. Maybe not a hugely valuable creature in this matchup. I think the most that it's going to do is maybe protect things from the Tidespout Tyrant down the line. But overall, maybe protect against Grave Titans, things like that.
I mean, not the most powerful spell Ian's got, but it's something.
Hope your work week went well.
What?
Hope your work week went well.
It did. It was very busy.
Nice seeing you again.
You
We're
too,
gonna
man.
head out for the night. I'll see you guys later.
Okay. Hand disruption, always. Stryfo, I'm going to take your word for it.
Yeah.
I like it. I know, all ponders should in fact be hapless researchers. The 20 in my car have nothing to do with that. Really, I should go and give Eric 4 of those hapless researchers. So, Eric going for the shuffle here. And what have we got going on? So, going for the draw here, and we have got a Daze. I think that was one of the cards that he ended up seeing. Going to be maybe a little bit useful here.
Yeah, I mean, not the best when we're...
okay, never mind.
There we go, yeah.
That was pretty good.
Yup. As I said, generally not as useful when you're on the draw because your opponent's going to have more mana, potentially be able to play around the Daze much more efficiently. But, yeah, there you go. Daze was exactly what he wanted.
And keeping it in seems a little bit interesting against the deck where he's not expecting a whole lot of counter magic, but may have just been going for it because Ian has some very powerful hate cards, and he really wants to make sure, because Ian's going to be playing those as soon as possible on curve, and so maybe just wants to enable himself to really hit those things, because that one extra mana, when Ian is a deck that is not casting those free spells, really, wants to hit them early and often, and if he's playing a turn 2 Rest in Peace, you want to hit it.
Right.
If he's running Rest in Peace. But when he's playing those cards, it's likely on curve.
Yeah, that's very true.
So, we have got... an Ashen Rider.
Yeah.
Now, of course, we all know that should actually be the Arc Pig, but...
Or the Arc Pig.
Oh, the Arc Pig. And it also looks like a land joining that Ashen
Yeah, I think it was
Rider.
just a island that you had a spare of.
Now, Eric does, if no Graveyard Hate comes into play, Eric does have the means to go for this Ashen Rider, and actually that Karakas isn't going to be that great against it.
No.
We could see that Ashen Rider end up taking down some... Ooh, and Athalia going to slow down Eric pretty decently. And I don't think I see much. We do have some Thoughtseize in the hand, but no counter magic, so that is definitely going to be coming down. And Eric going to be going down to 18.
Yeah, just a quick swing off that Mother Runes. And I believe, looking at Eric's hand, we saw an actual reanimate with a second land, not a animate dead or some other. Oh, it's in a...
That's an Exhume.
Exhume. That is unfortunate.
Yep.
Alright.
Yep. So, Stryfo, I understand. I know that you are not a fan of the Ashen Rider or the first couple of rounds tonight. Jeremy's... Our second we had a lot. We had about three matches on stream in the first round, 4 matches in the second round.
Yep, saw pretty much everyone that was here tonight, and there was a lot of cool deck variety. There's the standard couple of Delver decks. We've seen a Tezzerator a couple times. Affinity, Miracles. We've seen this Dark Maverick player, Reanimator.
Did you mention Alluren?
Oh yeah, there was a sweet Alluren player here.
Alright, and another Ponder from Eric, paying 2 for it, and we have got Force Will and a Gristlebrand, along with a Polluted Delta. So, do you keep this on top? And
I don't know. I mean, Force Will isn't buying him anything this turn because he's already put his land down, so he's not going to be able to cast it.
Yeah, and I think that he might be forgetting that about the Force Will with that Thalia out. He'll be sorely disappointed if he comes across the situation.
If he does, and it looks like he's keeping, and...
Now, the only reason that I can think that he might be going for that is so that next turn when he maybe starts going for some of these effects...
He has his backup?
He might be able to just set up a Force Will backup later, so that if Ian doesn't apply a ton of pressure, he can start going for that kind of win condition later with a lot of backup.
Yeah.
Okay.
And, Hyper Devo, no, not tonight. Haven't seen anyone playing Eldrazi in Legacy.
No Eldrazi, but Jund being repped by 2 players right now, mainly Wasteland Carl.
Yeah.
And we actually do have one other player, but the Mr. Wasteland Carl does come up and join us every couple weeks, sometimes consistently, sometimes not, and he is usually bringing a Jund deck.
Just not tonight.
Not tonight. Okay, so Eric, down to 15, definitely getting some pressure, and this Thalia doing a decent amount of just slowing things down for him.
Oh, yeah.
Has the Gristlebrand. Again, that's not going to be too excellent when that Karakas is still out. If we end up seeing something where Eric tries to go for the Ashen Rider, taking down the Karakas first.
That's very possible.
And the nice thing is that when it leaves, it might take out something else, so even a removal spell from Ian not going to be super effective.
Yeah.
But I think that he is going to be going for that card and trying to take down that Karakas.
Yeah, I think that's a decent play. Unfortunately, that Mother Rune's keeping his Thalia safe from the Ashen Rider, but we'll see.
Wasn't Wasteland Carl in Delver last week? I believe he was. He was trying out a different deck. He is normally on Junt from what I've seen.
All right.
But he does play other decks occasionally.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we have got an Underground Sea from Eric off of Polluted Delta, getting up to his third land, and this is the turn where we might actually see him go for this Ashen Rider.
Yep.
Ian having so much mana available, though, is concerning to me.
Right.
Especially because of this Deathrite Shaman, which I believe is no longer summoning sick. That means that he has exactly enough with a Green Sun
Oh,
Zenith.
yeah. No tap mana means that that Deathrite's already in play.
Yep.
Already active.
So if he does have the Green Sun Zenith, actually we do have a Thoughtseize first, which I kind of like. So Eric, being really patient, might actually be trying to set up that fourth land and be able to use maybe a Forcible backup just to make sure that whatever he lands ends up being protected.
For sure.
And shows that Swords to Plowshares as well as a Mother of Runes. Probably going to end up taking that Swords to Plowshares.
I would think so. That Mother of Runes isn't too scary. There's already one in play, and it's really mostly, protection against Ashen Rider and Tidespout Tyrant. But Eric has bigger things to be worried about right now.
Yep, and this Deathrite Shaman taking down the Ashen Rider.
Unfortunately.
With this Karakas also in play, Eric at a pretty big disadvantage in this game too.
Mm-hmm.
So, likely going to be going into a game 3.
Oh, yeah.
Stryfo tossing out the mention, which is basically Massacre, is a card. If it is there, then that's a great card.
Oh, yeah. If Eric chooses Massacre right now, that's going to do a ton to swing this game in his favor. Not guaranteeing the win, but it will buy him a lot of time.
Pretty close. It's going to be pretty close.
Mm-hmm.
So, I do think that, especially a game 3 becomes a nice situation for Eric, especially being on the play. When so many of these hate cards, the Deathrite Shaman isn't fully active until Ian's turn 2. If he plays at turn 1, if Eric is able to get a really fast start, he's in a great position.
Yeah, his first 2 turns completely free of Deathrite Shaman. His first 3 turns safe from Scavenging Ooze. That's got to feel really good for him.
Yeah. So, what have we got here? Is Reanimator even good on the play, though? Stryfo, I'll leave that to you.
I hear it's awful. Just horrible showing this past GPC tech.
Captain, he is kidding. Stryfo has got a GP top 8 with Reanimator to his name.
Top 4?
Oh, I'm sorry. It's a top 4.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he is...
just the tiniest bit sarcastic.
Oh, man. Yeah, he's fully aware. Stryfo's pretty good.
Yeah.
He's
been around the block.
Man, Stryfo even getting into the spirit of this April 1st. Didn't fall for that one. Nailed this. I am getting better at this recognition. But Eric now going to be on the play, picking himself. Captain, you show up on April 1st. It still is on the West Coast.
Yeah.
So
got another hour and a half of this.
They're going to be ringing all the jokes. Dice Hoarder tossing out a great question.
Yeah. Might as well ask the man himself.
Definitely. I trust Stryfo's opinion when it comes to Reanimator things more than just about anyone. Which is half the reason why I happen to have 20 Hapless Researchers in my car.
Mm-hmm.
My goodness.
That's a good reason.
One day.
Yeah?
And actually, every time that I see it, it makes complete sense.
Mm-hmm.
The amount of times that I've seen a Hapless Researcher get the win for just swinging 20 times.
Mm-hmm.
It's incredible. All right, and Stryfo tossing out some good information. Captain, you always come here for a good time.
Yep.
So hopefully you're okay with that.
I mean, it's a very strong card. No swords to worry about, no Mother Runes, no Deathrite Shamans. I think Mental Misstep is really just going to be a house.
Actually, I don't really think the card's that good. It costs you 2 life, which is a pretty huge cost.
I mean, Reanimate costs way more. I think Misstep is really underplayed in Legacy right now.
And it doesn't at all hit Scavenging Ooze. It doesn't hit the Thalia. It
but
doesn't
you have
hit
so much more
Karakas.
time to get around Scavenging Ooze.
It's unplayable trash.
I mean, if you just play the Arc Pig, you don't even have to worry about Karakas.
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 Oh, man. This is fun.
Yeah.
But Mental Misstep, pretty much unplayable in Legacy.
Now, why would you say that?
Why would I say that? That's a great question. Oh, man. This is fun. I gotta say, it's been kind of, like, it's interesting and weirdly, like, nostalgic to go back down to kind of the smaller Legacy stream.
Yeah.
For G-Smart, we're actually close to 80 people. Thank you to all the people who were basically kind of skipping a decent amount of their pre-releases to come hang out with us. And I know it's Legacy as opposed to Sealed, but still, we genuinely appreciate it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. What have we got here? Did you get your Moto cards already? Not even sure what they are asking there.
I think they're, might be talking to Strifo about that. Not sure.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Talking about that. So, we have got a Polluted Delta from Eric. Turn 1.
Let's see what super exciting play he's got going on for us.
Yeah, and going for it now as opposed to on Ian's on Ian's turn, probably not in tune that we're looking at. More likely something like Thoughtseize, some kind of hand disruption.
Maybe a nice. Oh, yeah, I was going to say Tasty Ponder, but there's your Thoughtseize.
All right, and we're going to be taking a look. We have got a Mother of Runes, Eternal Witness, Mother of Runes, Deathrat Shaman. Deathrat Shaman is going to be going.
Oh, yeah.
I think I'm significantly less concerned about a Mother of Runes because as long as I can get a card that is just a house, that Deathrat Shaman, it's going to make sure that it doesn't go away.
Or you just take the Eternal Witness because he'll just get his Deathrat Shaman right back. And the Deathrat Shaman has such lower power, I wouldn't even bother with it.
Oh, man. I love it. Slowly crashing, that is fantastic.
Gross.
So we've got a fetch from Ian to match the fetch of Eric. Again, on turn 1, probably just going to be going for this Mother of Runes.
Yep.
Because of some of the costs, I think we're going to see the green-white, which is the Scrubland?
Savannah.
Savannah. Scrubland is black-white, correct?
Yep.
Okay. So going for the Savannah, which you can tell because of the 2 darker splotches right above the or is that on Savannah?
The Scrubland has the darker splotches. The Savannah is lacking those. The Horizon's higher, not quite level, and the text box is a little bit more uniform.
Okay.
All those little things that you don't notice when they're not side by side.
Wonderful.
Yep.
Oh, man. So we have got a Mother of Runes for Ian and Eric hitting in.
Ooh.
Gets the Exhume, but no creatures
right.
yet. Is that a careful step?
This
No,
is
that's
Show
a
and Tell.
Show and Tell.
Show and Tell, Daze, Exhume, and I believe that is an Entomb hiding in the back of his hand now.
Okay.
So a lot of tools, just needs to find the timing on it. Oh, what are we going to see from Maverick here? He's holding... Oh, he doesn't have the mana for it. As I say, he's holding a Hymn to Turok.
But unable to cast it currently, which is just unfortunate.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so we have got... let's see... So we have the Daze, that's going to prevent some things. Gets the Ponder, probably just going to be casting that one early on just to make sure... Oh, and actually going for the Show and Tell early.
And is that holding a Gristlebrand then?
Interesting. I
very
think
well
that's a card that I did not...
It is. Ooh.
The Eternal Witness for the Deathrat Shaman not going to be good enough because this
No.
Deathrat Shaman is about to be a complete house.
Yeah, so hopefully Eric's able to back this up. We don't just see an immediate Karakas out of Ian. But, I shouldn't have said anything.
Oh my goodness.
Ian.
And I think they're actually calling over a judge to
Ian's just gonna
see what happens.
I think he's just showing it off. I don't think he's asking. He's just rubbing it in that this
my
happened.
Goodness.
Oh, that is unfortunate.
That is brutal. I mean, sometimes it happens.
It does, and that is always unfortunate, but...
I mean, that's true. He does still have the ability to draw a fantastic amount of cards. So he's not the loser in this situation.
No.
He got to put a Gristlebrand in hand. He gets to draw cards.
Yeah, he could draw 14, probably safer to just draw 7 here.
Especially with 2 Mother of Runes that can swing this turn on the battlefield.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Another Show and Tell.
Oh, there's the Show and Tell with another Gristlebrand.
Not that
And
great.
a Reanimate.
Oh.
Not necessarily going for the Reanimate at this life total, but he has plenty going on.
And the problem is that Caracas is going to continue to be problematic. He really needs something like a Wasteland, anything like that is going
I don't think Reanimate really plays Wasteland.
I also kind of doubt it. So that is...
Oh, unfortunate. He does have... that active Death Row Shaman, though. So you can say he has the ability to just discard a full grip, casting Exhume.
Can Exhume a Griselbrand basically just double up on the legendary creature?
Well, if he gets to go for the Exhume, then the Deathrite Shaman doesn't stop him because it's non-targeted Reanimate. But yeah, still just staring down that Caracas is really unfortunate.
Man, that is fantastically hilarious, though. Can't handle it.
That's what he needed, and he got the timing perfect.
Okay.
All right, well, let's hope you can find a better show and double force in a land. Get it out of here.
Not really what he's looking for at this point in the game.
Hopefully he can find something that he can show and tell in safely.
You know, maybe a Grave Titan would be excellent right now.
Grave Titan would be pretty good. That
the Arc Pig?
Yeah, the
Ashen Rider?
Ashen Rider, thank you.
Yep.
Since he's not playing the Arc Pig.
But I don't think he got
just
it.
holding those two Griselbrands. Not what he wants to be looking at right now.
Not at all. As for does he play Inkwell or Titan, he does play the Grave Titan.
I don't believe he plays Inkwell. I'd love to see him play Massacre Worm, but I don't think so.
I'm not sure if he is running them. We don't have the deck lists currently.
Right. But those aren't things I have seen.
Oh man. These are... I mean, and it's a grip of fantastic cards if your opponent doesn't have a Caracas and a Death Witch.
Right. This would be amazing, but that Caracas was the last thing he needed Ian to see.
And right now, looking at a clock of 2 turns. I mean, he basically needs to draw into, and just discarding a huge amount of cards.
Yep.
Pretty much needs to draw into one of his answers, because right now 4 damage swinging in plus that Deathrite Shaman with plenty of fuel for it.
Yep. And he's got the 2 Griselbrands, so if he gets a response to the Caracas, he can at least get one of them in through the Deathrite Shaman, but yeah, he just needs a Ooh, he is playing Massacre Worm.
Okay.
That would be awesome.
Glorious. A quick note to Romario Vidal. If you could send us a quick whisper, I know it's sound, but I'm not able to do it from where we are. I can't actually start one to you until you actually count some with what I have. But if you just want to send us a quick whisper, I have a question for you. If you could do that for me, I'd appreciate it. So, a Hymn to Turok, which is actually getting dazed. The interesting thing is that it actually forces him to choose.
Either, not use his Deathrite or put away his Caracas. And just letting the days happen.
I can't really think that it's super relevant. I think he was more just casting it because it's good. Eric doesn't have a whole lot going on for him right now that Ian's board just can't handle. Oh, perfect. You commented? I think I can now get it. I got it. Okay. There we go. Getting it in there.
Yep. Alright, so this looks like we're going into Eric's last turn alive. Hopefully he can pull something out of this game. I don't want to see it end like this. Oh, and just a fetch.
So, yeah, I think that's going to be the end of this game 3.
Yep. The only creatures he has available to Exhume are going to be those double Griselbrands. He's not even get a chance to block to gain some life out of it. Caracas is going to be too active, and that's going to be it for this match. An unfortunate way for the finals to end.
Alright. Let's see here.
Alright, and Eric doing a lot of contemplation to what's going on, but...
Deck talk, have a good night.
Yeah.
Alright, so...
No cantrips, no other creatures, he's
out of luck.
That is unfortunate. Got his Reanimate and his Show and Tell and nothing to do with them.
So...
I mean, it happens when you play combo, though.
Yeah, I mean, I think Dark Maverick about to be our winner for the night.
It looks like it.
Winning through the Blue Thopters.
Yeah, well, going for the Exhumed just because.
Let's see here.
And Ian's giving this some serious thought for some reason. There you go.
So, I mean, you know, you gotta. Maybe he won't use the Caracas.
Yeah.
There's a chance.
I mean, I don't know why he wouldn't. He has already proven that he knows he needs to. But, I mean, yeah. Play to your outs, and your out is to hope your opponent's bad at Magic. Alright. Seen that Deathrite eating up the other Gristlebrand there. And just going for the swing.
Yep. And that is going to close out this game. No removal, no options for Eric. Just going to be unfortunate.
Indeed. Alright, well, I can go and have a quick look, see if any other matches are still actually playing. But that was the finals for this tournament.
So, Dark Maverick taking the win.
Yep.
After, oh man, I can't actually, hold on. No, you're fine. Yeah, I meant hold on. I will get us back to the booth, I promise. But our system has a lot of buttons to be pushed, and we have no actual outside assistance. Something that I'm looking at doing eventually, but at the moment don't have the capability. I'm going to go back to the booth and I'll answer that question that I just saw pop up. See you soon. Hello and thank you for joining. It is fantastic hanging out with you all tonight. Don't go away just yet. We might have another match to show for you, and even in the case that we don't stick around, usually we like to stick around a bit afterwards, have some fun, talk about some fun stuff, play a game of 6 words, things like that, and just interact with you guys, because that's what we like to do. Now, Sunfishy, do we stream every Legacy every single Friday, 7:30? We do stream all of them. I pretty much haven't competed for about 6 months in this store, just because I've been talking about every single one. It's been a lot of fun. In the next little bit, I might start pushing a little bit more responsibility onto some of my co-hosts, and eventually get out there and play myself. But is your question, could you play on stream when you come in and play and get up on that camera? If that is your question, sorry, I'm a little bit under the weather. If that is your question, then absolutely. But let me know kind of what the question is. Is that Silumgar? I believe so. Silumgar is in his sideboard. Works against a lot of... Yeah, he's definitely played it before. I think he played it when he was up in GP Vancouver doing some side events as well. And really enjoyed it. It's pretty cool. It's definitely something that can be disagreed with. But he very much enjoyed it. So, especially because of the hexproof nature of it. Could you play on stream, Sunfishy? I mean, we tend not to go with if people say... Can I be on stream this round or anything like that? Occasionally we'll do it, but most likely you will end up on stream. Yes. So that is, I mean, tonight we were able to have, I think, everybody who's in the store right now on stream. Pretty much, if you let us know that you would like not to be on stream, we won't put you on there. Otherwise, we try and get some interesting matchups on there and just other things. If you are in here and you are playing, very likely you will end up on that stream. So, yes. All kinds of excitement.
That was actually it for the tournament.
Nothing weird here. Nothing weird here. But, okay, so unfortunately that was the end of our matches. But if you want to stick around because we're going to play a game of 6 words. I'm going to put a little command in there. Now, if you are going to take off, be sure to hit that follow button before you go if you haven't already. We do this every Friday, along with Modern on Wednesdays and Saturdays. It's a lot of fun for us, so if you anything that you can do to support us and keep showing up, we really appreciate it. Now, if anyone wants to play a game of 6 words or just do some Q&A, or just give us something that you want us to discuss, really anything, we're interested in just hanging out for a little bit because we're
not going to get kicked out of the store tonight because they're staying open for pre-release.
Yay!
Yeah! Usually the store owner comes through and says he's tired and needs to go home or something. Not tonight.
Exactly. All kinds of fun to be had. Though, that being said, we might need to I'm not sure if I'm in the long haul to do the full hour and 15 minutes of...
Oh, yeah, I don't know about that, but we aren't getting thrown out of the store anytime soon.
Perfect. So, if you do have any questions, just put @GeekFortress in your question so it highlights it for us. And if you want it to be specifically a 6 words question in which we answer in exactly 6 words as fast as possible with almost no thought whatsoever, feel free to toss in and just put 6 words at the beginning of your question. Joe, did you become a floating head by choice, or is it something that happened to you outside your control?
So this is something we haven't told to the stream, and we wanted this to be kind of a big reveal. I've actually been just a floating head this whole time, and we've been CGing in a body for me, and I wanted to let you guys know this is actually who I am.
Interestingly enough, before we had the green screen, what we would do is actually put a hanger behind him and just have a shirt hanging on a coat hanger.
Yep.
Yeah, it's actually very elaborate how he did it. Really impressive performance by Joe.
Yeah, I mean, and on the low budget that we have here, I just think it looks amazing.
Yeah, but tonight we were unable to get our setup, had a little bit of technical errors, but don't worry, in some future streams we should be back to having the really solid CGI that was put together for us. 6 words about Joe's head. About Joe's floating head specifically. I'll let you start.
Oh, gee.
Alright, 6 words about his floating head with no thought whatsoever. It's all floaty and stuff. Neat.
This is me now. Accept it.
Yours is better. Oh man, it really makes me want to do like the look, no strings.
Well, it doesn't work when you reach behind me though. I saw that a minute ago.
Are you a member of the Headless Hunt? That's a great question from Shogun. I'm going to assume no. I assume that you are actually their quarry.
You'd actually be correct. I've been hiding from them, and unfortunately this is going to make it a little harder since, we talked so much about where we are, but, it's worth it.
Definitely. We're just going to have to relocate, and definitely that CGI has done a lot of work.
Also, slowly crashing, it's Pete Venters, and you know it.
I'm actually taking a look at what the best him art is. Let's see here. I'm going to take a look at the various ones. Ooh, I do like that one a lot, but let's take a look at some of the others. Oh my goodness, there's been so many. How about Fallen Empires?
It had so many just in Fallen Empires.
Okay, the wolf one, very cool. What else do we have? We have got...
That is the most popular, I do believe.
See, that's probably not my favorite. That one's pretty sweet.
The
that's
little circly dude.
The circly dude is a good
There
one.
we go. Oh, excuse me, it's not Pete Venters. I apologize.
The Scott Kirshner.
Scott Kirshner has the best Hymn to Turok art.
That's pretty good
in my
art.
opinion.
That is some pretty good art. Let's see if there's anything else.
And then the From the Vault is the same as the Vintage Masters.
Yeah.
Which is what people were proxying tonight. Personal favorite is Scott Kirshner, though.
Interesting. That's a good answer. I might have to agree, though.
The Bad Santa.
Oh, because of that
That's a
glorious
good
beard.
That's a good name for it.
I think that you may have just pushed that one into the front running for me. Honestly.
I'm sorry, but the weird dinner has my heart.
Okay. The weird
Scott
dinner?
Kirshner.
We'll call it First Supper.
This is a weird dinner party.
We'll call it First Supper. They weren't quite sure how to do it.
Yeah.
So do we just take 2 of these plates and just put them in the garbage? Yeah. That's exactly how you do it. What are the best basic land art, and why the unglued lands? Actually, let me answer that one. I can show you what my favorite mountain art is. It is, man, I forgot that there... Okay, so my favorite mountain is one of the old ones. It is a John Avon one from... Oh, man, I might actually have to even go farther back. It is from the 1999 starter set, as well as some other sets. But that's the easiest one to bring it up on and actually just get it almost immediately. Oh, man. Okay, so let's see what we get here.
There's a handful of them.
Right. Nope, not that one. I'm going to get it. I'm going to show you guys my favorite mountain. I will show my favorite mountain.
All right, what you got?
There we go.
Ooh, that is a pretty nice mountain.
So this... Dang it. Whoops.
Nope.
Hit the wrong button. This is my favorite mountain.
I like it. That's a nice mountain.
Yeah. It just has a really nice... I don't know, it just feels very epic it's like in the distance. And
It's got a lot of layers to it, giving a lot of depth to that huge mountain in the background.
Yeah.
That's a nice
So,
mountain.
is there a particular land that you approve of?
I really like the Unglued Island. That is one of my favorites.
Is that the one that has like the thing in the background that looks like the background of Elspeth? The one that has kind of a rock coming out of the water?
Yeah, it's like the big kind of squiggly.
The squiggly
island.
rock.
Yeah. That. I'm a big fan of that one.
The Big Rock Candy Mountain.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's not,
Was that reprinted? Yes, it was. But that's just the easiest way for me to find it. But, any other 6 words questions? Yeah. Toss them in there. Free fire them. We'll fire through them as quickly as possible. Mm-hmm. Magic related, always good. Yep. Specifically Legacy related, I'm decent
Even
at.
Better.
He's great at. Specifically Modern related I'm good at. He's
I can't
decent
do
at it.
for beans.
Outside of Magic, acceptable. We'll answer questions outside of Magic.
Pretend
if you guys
to
have,
answer.
yeah. If that's something you guys have a question about, we'll certainly do our best to answer. The one stipulation that we have is that we do try to be family friendly here.
Yes.
That's pretty much it.
And you could also bug us on Twitter. We'll answer questions there.
Absolutely. I will answer 6 words questions on Twitter, as well as just let you guys know when we're streaming and post deck lists when I get them up there. It's probably worth your time to hit that follow button.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, and I tend to overly use hashtags, which is pretty fun for me.
It's the best way to use hashtags.
Right?
Go big or go home.
Mostly, I challenge myself to use enough hashtags to have exactly 0 characters left.
All right.
That's it. Like, I put in my message, and I'm like, okay, now it's time to start getting hashtags in. 6 words. Anything you're excited about from Shadows over Innistrad for Constructed? Go.
That new zombie dude for Modern.
Nice.
I know a lot of people are excited. Everyone always has to ask me, when are you playing Modern Bombardment again? When that guy's not $20.
Anything that I like for Constructed? There are a few, not much.
Yeah.
I mean, for what I personally play, which is Burn in pretty much every format, Affinity and Modern, and just the outside things, there are cards that I think will make an impact, nothing that will directly make an impact on what I am playing.
Right.
Thing in the Ice, a lot of potential, at least in Modern. I'm hopeful for it. I'm not convinced it'll be great, but I do think it's worth that testing. Arlene Cord, possibly in Jund. And definitely, just there's cards that are worth looking at.
Yeah.
Anything that I am particularly thrilled about? Not quite.
Yeah. No, I almost forgot about Thing in the Ice. I am really excited to do that in my Modern Snakes on a Plane list, which haven't played too much here, but it's gonna be fun.
Is he Josh? 6 words. Do I do math homeworks? Could have used me like 10 years ago. If you watched Wednesday, I shouldn't. I was talking so fast that someone tossed in a math problem, and it was like easy 108. But I just tossed up 98. Moving on. Nailed it. It was awful. You don't want me.
Beautiful.
Okay. But what have we got? Well, I'm going to assume that you're Josh.
Oh, yeah.
What do you play in Legacy?
I have a lot of things I play in Legacy.
Yeah, you're not constrained to 6 words. Just power through.
Oh, good. I have more than 6 decks. I've got a really fun bug Nick Fit deck I've been playing recently with Recurring Nightmare and Birthing Pod. I had that on stream, I think like 3 weeks ago now. And then I've also got a fun Alurin-esque Esper Splash Green Cavern Harpy Aether Vial value thing.
Most of his decks will end with the word
thing-ish. Pile of cards that technically qualifies as a deck.
Oh, do you remember the pile?
Oh, jeez, yeah. The pile.
That was
courtesy of Zach Eagle.
Was a great
nightmare. It was like Death and Taxes, but less death and more taxes. It was painful.
All right, so let's. What do we think of the new envelop with Delirium effect? The one that it's basically an envelop, counter target sorcery for a single blue.
Okay.
If you have Delirium, it actually it basically searches their hand and library for additional copies, exiles it.
It's interesting. I think
it's a sideboard card.
Sorcery?
Where you see envelop, it will now become that card. As far as it being incredible, I'm not sure.
Yeah, maybe plays well against
sideboard. It'll be sideboard.
Yeah, it's sideboard. Potential against like Reanimator or Show and Tell, but you already have like Spell Pierce that's just a little more well rounded.
Okay.
It's cute. I just don't know if it's gonna see a lot of play.
All right, we're going to power through a couple more because we actually have someone who is going to be picking up a Legacy stream.
Ooh.
Stick with us, and we'll just be hosting straight to them. So hopefully that helps out, and we can just kick you to some more Legacy streams. So just to power through whatever's left, and if any show up in that meantime, we'll power through that. And we'll wish you all a good night. What is our favorite card? Any criteria for a choice? I think that you're brand new to this stream. I don't recognize your name, but my criteria for cards that I like is, are they red? I'm a big mono red player. I like red. I do play other cards. Basically, everything else is my second favorite, with artifacts being just below favorite. But then the other 4 colors, second favorite. I don't dislike them. I just like red more. My favorite card, probably Bolt, maybe Tybalt.
All right. You mean maybe Tybalt?
I have a lot of Tybalts, but I'm a Lightning Bolt fan. I'm a huge advocate for the red cards. How about you?
I really love Bloodghast. My biggest criteria for is a card going to be one of my new favorites? Is it a creature? Is it, in Esper colors? Maybe green. But, I'm huge on having creatures with sweet abilities tacked on. So, Cavern Harpy, Bloodghast, Silumgar the Drifting Death. Anything in that vein, A-OK in my book.
All right, what have we got? Nick Fit for life. Hey, Nick Fit is a sweet deck.
Oh, yeah.
What,
There's a lot of flavors to it.
what? Oh, yes. Yeah, we will be hosting Romario Vidal. That's the question that I was asking him, just to see what it is. Since he'll be streaming Legacy, it makes sense for us to just host straight over to him so that people can continue watching Legacy. It works for me. Name 6 Lovecraft-flavored Shadows over Innistrad cards.
I haven't seen enough of the spoilers actually to do that.
Let's go with the new Chubtoad.
Thing in the Ice.
Thing in the Ice, definitely. That Inquisitor, the one that's the 1-drop white creature that does investigate, and it has that weird Cthulhu-y stuff.
Oh, there's the who's it's at the door? That guy. Just a horror.
Oh, the all the
got,
youth, the aberrant youth. I don't know what incorrigible youth. It shows a bunch of extra eyes and tentacle things on them.
Yeah, I know there's the thing that's got 7 arms and is knocking at the door or whatever. That's super Lovecrafty.
That is super Lovecrafty. And what else? That's 5. So we need 1 more.
Is there any type of rat in the new set?
I don't think so.
Oh.
No, I don't think that there's any rats.
Rats in the Wall is my favorite Lovecraft story.
There's one. The new blue board wipe that bounces all creatures. If you look at the art, it has actually got a giant tentacled beast beneath the art.
All right, then.
Yeah.
There we go.
So I'm going to count that as a possibility there. Hopefully that satisfied you. I did notice your username.
Yeah, no.
Nailed it.
Sure, talking. Very nice.
Man, you actually know how to pronounce it?
Dude, I've read all of it. It's so good.
Oh, Brain in a Jar makes sense.
Eh.
I mean, that feels a little bit more
yeah.
mad science-y to me. Is that actually from...
God, it's been too long since I've read his stuff. I mean, I'd say it counts for Herbert West Reanimator, if nothing else. I'm just gonna naming some of these.
Nice. Look at this. Kindred Spirits. Kindred Spirits.
Yeah, read all of it in college.
So, I think we're just coming to the end there. So, if it is all right with you guys, we are going to try and host over to Romario Vidal, which hopefully we can do correctly. I am going to try. Stick with me if not. But, hold on. I am going to set it up, and then we'll be doing our outro. So, from all of us at Geek Fortress, which is mostly just 2 of us and everyone out there, but from Geek Fortress, we hope that you have a great morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever it is that you are. My name's TJ.
I'm Joe.
And we hope to see you next time. See you there.